So I've been to jail twice, yeah. First time I went was for a replica firearm. They raided my house looking for pills and weed because I used to sell weed and pills. I'm always trying to justify my ego, because if I don't justify my ego and I don't try to prove myself, then I'm just a shit talker.
So you're definitely gonna come up to here at least.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
And the whole.
Yeah, pretty much, bro. Pretty much.
What about your dick when it's erected, bro? Is there enough space there for you, bro? Hola, mi amigos. Your host Maverex checking in. I'm an Australian-born Chinese actor, storyteller, orator, food comerer, and narcissist. The Real Talk with Maverex podcast aims to share real-life stories that will make you laugh and cry. This show is all about making you feel more connected to people and the universe at large. So sit back, relax, keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times, and enjoy the ride.
We are live.
We are now live. Well, we've been live for a few seconds, but thank you, my bro, for coming through. Oh, no. Oh, one more. That's the one. That's the fucking one.
That's the one.
We got there. Third time's a charm, man. Guys, this is Real Talk with Maverex. This is my boy, Andrew Tran. Yo, I met
Truong.
this guy. Andrew Truong.
Very
See, he was
professional.
close enough.
Very professional, bro. Very professional. Very professional.
Close enough, bro. Oh my god. So I met this guy recently, actually, really, like,
Yeah.
I didn't even know you existed until like a few months ago.
Yeah, 3 months ago when we were on set.
Yes. Can you tell us about where we met, man?
Yeah, so for those that don't know me, Andrew, OneOutTraining, Confit Pathways, OneOutTV, whatever you want to call it. We met on the set of Last King of the Cross, okay? For those that don't know, Last King of the Cross was an autobiography by John Ibrahim, who pretty much ran the cross back in the days, yeah? For those that don't know. And who got us? Oh, Maria. Yeah, Maria, that's right, yeah. Maria got us both an extra gig on that show, and
He got you one.
Oh, yeah.
My friend got me the
okay.
gig.
Yeah.
But you keep going with yours.
Yeah. So Maria's like, we were trying to get like guys from the area to play the gangsters from the area, because they originally casted some Chinese people from the city.
And Koreans as well.
Yeah, to play fucking Vietnamese people from the area, Yeah. So, Maria had done a lot of pushing to get me a spot on, and then we met on that night. Yeah. I met a lot of the boys that night.
Dude, it was such a fun time, man. Like, we the first night, I think it was the first night, we pretty much rocked up, and our scene was we had to come out the cars and then go grab all these AK-47s, machetes, and all these Glocks and everything, and it was just...
Remember how cold it was?
Oh, it was
He was doing push-ups
Bro,
in the middle of the van.
I was like one of the only ones to wear singlets. I had to do push-ups the whole time. I was like, nah, I'm in character. The character wouldn't be cold. Like, he's going to fucking fight a war right now, bro.
So we filmed in the middle of winter, but the scene was like summer nights. So we're in singlets, and I felt bad for you, bro.
The nips, bro,
Yeah.
the nips.
But
Was that your first time being on set?
Yeah, first time being on set, first time being on TV, not TV, we will be on TV, but first time being on set and that. It was a really good experience. I thought that it's something that I might want to pursue one day, but not really. But it was a really good experience, I wouldn't take anything away from that.
Yeah, dude.
And then,
So, actually, for your tats, they had to cover it up, eh?
Okay, so originally they wanted me because of my tats, and then when they had a look at my tats, they thought it's too new generation. It's too neo. It's not like what they had in the 70s and 80s and 90s, because everything's like very relatively new, because like the talent of tattoo artists have gotten better over the years, and the quality of tattoos have gotten better.
Yes.
And they thought, well, you know what, it doesn't really fit the vibe. But as the show progressed and the directors saw more of my ink and they saw a bit more of me, they started showing it a lot more. And that's when they made me switch to the other side to be a fucking triad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, so they liked the ink as the show got on.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so they switched it up there.
Originally, the makeup artist said, nah, it's not 80s, 90s. And then the director had a look at me and goes, nah, get his shirt off. Yeah. Get his shirt off.
Nice. Because it was too legit, bro. It looks too good for back in the days. Can you tell us some more about, like, your tats, and when did you get your first tat?
So my first one was my back, actually. Actually, you want me to quickly show you?
Yeah, dude. Like, I was literally take your fucking shirt off.
Right.
We're doing Magic Mike in this building right now.
So my first bit of ink was my back about, I'd say like close to 10 years ago. I started on this one.
Yep, that's two tigers fighting each other, guys, if you
Yeah.
can't see.
And
Maybe
a
you squat down a little bit. Yeah.
2 tigers and a snake at the bottom.
Nice.
Alright, so I'll quickly run through my ink.
This casting couch right here, guys.
I'll quickly run through my ink.
Yeah, because you were telling me about how you took a long time to decide what you wanted, which was a great idea, by the way, because most people, they get it just because they want to show off instantly, but you put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah, exactly. So, exactly what you said, like, the first, when all my mates started getting the ink done, I thought, all right, well, you know, it's all looking really good, but everyone was getting koi fishes at the time.
Yeah.
And I thought, fuck, man, that's the trend. I'm going to look like everyone else.
No.
And I thought, you know what, let's plan this really carefully. So I thought, okay, I'll get my back first because, well, I can cover it if I don't like it.
Yes.
2, it's a big piece, so I can put a little bit of thought into it. And then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
And I originally planned that I'll do my arms last because it's the 2 pieces that are going to be shown the most.
Exposed.
Yeah, most exposed. So I want it to be the best pieces. So I want to make sure that when I do get my sleeves, I'm not going to regret it. And most of my mates now, they kind of regret their sleeves. Like now they're at the age where it's like the quality of tattoos have gotten better.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, man, I want this, I want that, but I've got no space on my arms. I've already done it, you know.
Yeah.
But when I shave on my arm, everyone's like, bro, that's new, that's different, you know. Anyways, so I started with the 2 tigers because both my parents were born in the year of the tiger.
Wow.
Yeah, so I thought, you know, why not start my work of art with them because, you know, my life started with them.
That's amazing.
And I thought, oh, well, let's make them fight because, well, my mum and dad was always fighting. Funny enough, they recently got divorced. So, yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's all coming together, yeah?
It's like a complete circle now. It's coming full circle.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you want to call it superstitious where I jinxed them.
You manifested the divorce.
But it turned out the way it did. And the snake, well, my original plan was everything on my upper half of the body was meant to be positive things and like the good things in my life that kept me strong and anything that reminded me of like just positive things. And the bottom half of my body was supposed to be all negative things. So it's supposed to be like a mixture. And
Yin yang.
Yeah. And I thought, all right, well, I have a snake coming up my back, trying to upset the balance.
Oh.
So that's what the snake
devil,
was.
bro.
Yeah.
Satan, bro.
Yeah, that's why I had the snake coming on my back. So anything from there's always something trying to upset the balance in your world.
Yeah,
so that's what I tried to portray on my body. And then I decided to do my leg first. So this right leg was all kind of like jail stuff. So jail stuff and like a bit of like crime and related. Like so I got like gambling money.
Yeah.
I got one of the jails on the back of my calf. A girl with a roll of money in her mouth.
Sheesh.
Cards. So this is the first card game that I learned in jail.
Ooh.
So the Queen of Spades and the 10 of Diamonds.
Yeah.
This is actually not a bad one, actually.
That looks sick. Man.
So with this one, yeah. So I labeled the spade red, and I labeled the diamond black, even though it's supposed to be the other way around.
Oh.
The reason for that,
like that.
Yeah, the reason for that was, you know, I learned this when I was in jail. Yeah, I learned that in life, you're not always what you're labeled to be. You don't have to be what you're labeled to be. So I realized that when I thought, just because you're a cop doesn't make you a good person.
Yes.
Just because you're a criminal doesn't make you a bad person.
Facts.
So I thought, you know, you can be a Queen of Spades, but you don't have to be red, or you don't have to be black.
Bro.
Same, vice versa with the 10 of Diamond.
That's so, yeah, bro. That's mind blowing. That's so metaphorical. So
Yeah,
symbolic.
yeah. As I was going through jail, I was meeting a lot of these people. You know, they might have done the wrong thing, but deep down they were really good people. They had really good morals, good values, and like, you know, like obviously like jails split into different populations. Yeah, so you'll have like your general population and your protection. And the people that were in general population, most of them carried a lot of good morals. You know, like we didn't tolerate rape. We didn't tolerate snitches. We didn't tolerate pedophiles. And I thought, well, those are really strong values that, even though like in jail, it's like the scum of community, those are good values that the whole of society should be carrying as a value, you know?
Like foundational.
Yeah. And I thought, man, even though these people are shit people, like we've done the wrong things in our lives, but we carry really good values. And I thought, wow, like, you know, those are really good people. It's just sometimes, you know, drugs get the best of us or other shit, you know? Wrong environment, but yeah. And then my left leg, actually, funny enough, I got my left arm before I got my, so I went against what I said, yeah? But I knew when I got the left arm, I knew that's what I wanted.
Yes.
So it's a panda.
Guys, it's a panda fucking dragon.
Yeah, panda
dragon. You ever seen a panda dragon before, mate?
Yeah, so the story behind the panda dragon was, so I always thought like growing up, like I was going to be who I was from 18 to 21. That's who I was for the rest of my life. And then when I went to jail, my first nickname in jail was Panda. Okay, so I carried that like maybe for the first year and a half. And then got out. I used the panda as my logo because I became vegan. So I thought, oh, that's me now, yeah? And then I saw this idea from another tattoo that was an actual panda dragon. It was by Rob Steele. He done a really good job of a panda dragon because he does like hybrid animals like a crocodile, shark. I don't know, he does really good ones.
I love that.
And I saw the panda dragon, I go, bro, that's my tattoo. And I thought, that's what resembles me, you know? You don't have to be the panda for the rest of your life because you know, I started training, I started changing my life around. You don't have to be the panda for the rest of your life. You can become supreme. You know, you can be the best of what you can be. You don't have to be one thing.
Which is like the ultimate mythical beast, the dragon, yo.
Yeah, the ultimate. You know, you be the best of what you can be, you know?
Exactly.
And then that's the idea of the panda dragon. So I thought as soon as that idea came to me, I got to get it done. And then I started getting this arm done because my next idea was, what's it called? I always wanted to do something with my zodiac. So, so if you can see, it's a goat. It's a goat in a bamboo hat. So and I got both Vietnamese flags. So I'll start with the Vietnamese flags. We'll go work our way down. Yeah. So I got both flags tatted on me, and I had this question before. Someone asked me in the gym, bro, because I work at Fitness Republic. I got a lot of Vietnamese people coming in and out. And
imports as well.
Yeah. And you know, some people get offended that I got the fucking Vietnamese flag.
Yeah.
And then
the north one?
Yeah, the north one, and I got the south one, yeah. So I learnt this when I was in jail, that, you know, how do I put this? Because when you're in jail, you stick with your race.
Yep.
So you had to learn to stick with Vietnamese people, whether they're north or south, because in there, man, it's race against race, or was. Until recently, now it's area codes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now it's about what area you're from, but back then it's probably still a little bit about race, but back then it was just strictly about race, more than area code. And I stuck with a lot of Vietnamese boys, and I thought, okay, well, you know, I got love for the North people as much as I do for the South people. At the end of the day, we all speak the same language, we carry the same culture. You know, when you fly the Vietnamese flag, you fly the whole country. You don't just cut off the South.
Exactly.
So, you know, you got to represent the whole country.
Facts.
And like, I don't want to speak bad on any South Vietnamese boys, but when I was in jail, like when shit hit the fan, like I saw North boys that had my back more than South boys, and North boys that were more staunch than the South boys. And I go, man, doesn't matter if you're South or North, bro. You're Vietnamese.
Exactly, bro.
Yeah, you might speak a slightly different dialect, but you're still more Vietnamese than anyone else.
Oh, facts.
Yeah.
And you're more so focusing on what is similar than more than what is different.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I thought this to myself. Yeah. So like, if you're proud and happy of who you are today, yeah, and how far you've come, you have to be acceptable. You have to accept the good with the bad. So you have to be proud and happy with all the good shit that's been happened to you.
Facts.
And all the bad shit that's happened in your life. You have to be proud of it no matter what, yeah? So the same thing as being proud for your country. If you have ended here with a good life and your parents have brought you here, you have to be proud of the fact that the Vietnam War has happened for your family to escape. You know, even though it's a bad thing that happened, you have to still be proud of it because it's gotten you to where you are today.
Right.
And if you're actually happy with where you are today, you have to be happy about all the shit things that have happened. Right. You have to be. And I thought about that too. And I spoke to one of these girls in my gym. She was really adamant. Okay, and I say that like that because she was, you know, we're going back and forth about it. And she was just totally like, you know what, I don't like North people because my grandparents had to suffer like the refugee camps because of the North people, this, that. And I asked her, I go, look, let me ask you a question, yeah? You know, if a child is born and let's say I commit all these heinous crimes of murder, etc. Is my child guilty of my sins? And she goes, no. I go, all right, cool. So why are you carrying the scars of your grandparents? You know, if you don't carry the sins of your grandparents, why are you carrying the scars of your parents, your grandparents? You know, it has nothing to do with your life. You can be upset about it and upset about the fact about it, but why do you have to portray that dislike and hatred towards the North Vietnamese people because of that? And then she started trying to find other reasons about why she didn't like North people. I'm like, all right, so that's why you don't like North people, not because of your grandparents.
Exactly. She's using them as an excuse to
Yeah,
just solidify her belief.
Yeah, but like, you know, and look, no offense to like the South Vietnamese community. I love you, all of you guys too, because my parents are both from the South, yeah? And when I see the Vietnam OzTag team, how it only flies the South flag, I go, man, you got to be proud of the whole North too. You know, you can't just disregard the North. Like, it is as much of a country as the South is. We may have lost the war, but we ended up here, and yeah. But that's why I got both. Yeah, that's why I got both flags tatted on me.
That, man, because you're accepting the whole you, bro.
Not
just one side of you, not just the good, but the bad as well.
Yeah.
Well, even though there's no good bad, like everyone has their own perspectives, but in a way you're amalgamating both of them together, and it's like, this is me.
Yeah.
The part of my eye that I can see and the part that's fucking blind as well. So you gotta accept both, man. And I want to speak a bit more on that. Like, you spoke about how you, well, if it wasn't for the Vietnam War and the communism and stuff, me and you wouldn't be here in Australia.
Exactly.
Because obviously mine was the Khmer Rouge. They were the communists in Cambodia. But the same thing, if they didn't have that war, then, and a lot of people died, obviously, is a terrible thing. But at the same time, there's beauty in the darkness as well, because we wouldn't be here if the French didn't colonize Vietnam. I say this all the time. We would not have pork rolls and banh mi. Like, we wouldn't have any of that.
Our quality of life is really good.
Bro, we have.
Yeah, you got to be grateful for that. Like, we're not living in a third world country.
No.
Yeah, and people want to hold grudges for the North because of that, because their mum told them to or their dad told them to. I understand, you know, they went through a hard life, but you got to be grateful and you got to accept and be proud of what has happened.
Yep.
It's a part of history now, yeah.
You got to take it all in, and then you can only move forward if you accept what is now and what's happened in the past.
Exactly, and why are you going to waste all that energy on what your parents went through? Waste your energy on creating a better future for your kids.
Yes, invest it.
Yeah, you know, all that time I spent hating, talking shit about the North, I could have spent it on, I don't know, researching in NFTs or something.
Yeah, fast.
You know what I mean?
It's an opportunity cost, man.
Yeah, it wastes time and energy.
And because I did for a role for, have you heard of The Sympathizer?
No, I haven't.
That's the book about, it's the book about a Vietnamese spy.
Yep.
He's a spy for the North, but he works for the South.
Oh, yeah.
And so you really see the perspective of both sides of the ones in Saigon, like having to leave to America, then escape the war. But then he was sympathizing with the North.
Yeah.
So he saw all the tragedies of what the war people, the sergeants and all that, they were raping all the Vietnamese females as well. Yeah. The ones that were working for the American government. Yeah. So really there is no right or wrong. It's like everyone is the protagonist in their own life. So
yeah, exactly, bro.
Just saying what you said, bro. It's like pretty much comes down to perspective, but at the end of the day, there's good and bad in both sides. Yeah, always, brother. You know, it's always about trying to find the middle ground, I reckon. Yes. But yeah, moving on with my tattoo. Yeah, so the goat in the bamboo hat, obviously Vietnamese bamboo hat, most of you will know. Mm-hmm. The reason why I got the goat was so I just finished it yesterday actually. So still sticking, the red. Looks fresh as, yeah.
So the goat was because I'm born in the year of the goat, and I thought, man, everyone that gets their animal tatted, there's Chinese zodiac animal tatted. I thought everyone's got a cool animal, but the goat's not really that cool. Bro, I got a cock, man, a fucking chicken. Well, yeah, the goat's not really that cool, and luckily my tattoo artist is very good with his imagination. Shout out JVN. Hey, shout out JVN. JVN at Monarch in Liverpool. Nice. I told him, bro, I want a goat warrior. And he's like, no worries, you know, like in like armor and that, and he's got the staff and the armor. And looks like a Dota character, bro. Yeah, like a Dota character, chieftain. Yeah. And I thought, well, you know what, man, like, doesn't matter what you're stuck with, like what you're born with, it's what you make of yourself. You know, you can be born in the year of a goat, but you can still be a warrior. You just gotta, you still gotta work at it. Goat's a beast, man. Like, I would not want to have a headbutt fight with a goat, yo. Yeah, so like, you know, it all comes, like you said, it all comes down to perspective. Exactly. Yeah, and then I got two very generic tattoos on my hands. 2 food dogs. I thought, like, I've seen a lot of good-looking ones, and food dog was originally, like, back in the days when everyone was getting tattoos, and I started seeing food dog tattoos, I thought that was the first thing I wanted. So I thought, you know, I'll just put it somewhere small in both of my hands. Moving on to my leg.
Hey, tattooception right there, guys.
Yeah, more food dogs, yeah.
That's sick.
Tats on tats. I got
I love that.
3 girls, 1 girl, another girl, and the other girl.
Speak no evil,
yeah.
see no evil, hear no evil.
And I felt like that more relates to like the jail life when like you don't see, you never see nothing, you never heard nothing, don't speak nothing, don't talk about it. Yeah. And I thought, you know,
as in like no snitching.
Yeah, no snitching. You know, anyone asks you never heard nothing. Anyone asks you didn't see nothing. You know, just regular. How would you say? Just a regular like code that most people should live by. You know. Yeah.
It's like unspoken rule. Hey?
Yeah, unspoken rule. And I thought, oh, you know, that's what I want to fill up my other leg. So like all the negative stuff in my life, and I wouldn't say that's negative because it has a lot of value, but like I learnt it in a negative place. And I thought all my negative stuff will be on my legs, so I can cover it whenever I want. And then all the positive stuff, my upper body. Yeah.
Dude, that's really thought out, man. That's like, I'm so glad that I didn't get a tat back in the days because all my boys had tats as well. And if I had gotten one at that time, for sure it would not have been as thought out as this. Probably would have been a koi fish as well.
But yeah, like
a Duruma or some shit.
Well, now that it's turned out so well, I love showing it off, and I love walking down the street and people are like, bro, where'd you get your ink from? And I always get DMs from people saying, bro, where'd you get your ink from? You know, what's it like? Can you recommend me someone or blah blah blah? And like most of the time, I just know my tattoo artist, so I can't really recommend anyone else.
But it's like a great conversation starter, hey? This is your whole story.
Well,
pictures.
I'm in the process of doing my chest and stomach. So in case you guys want to see, so it's a panda warrior, and I'm just gonna have a bunch of food dogs around it.
Nice. So food dogs, they symbolize like guardianship, hey?
Yeah, guardian of the temple, to ward away the evil spirits. But for me, I saw an image. Yeah, so most people only get the 2 dogs. 2 food dogs that protect the temple, the 2 that you see in front of the temple. But I saw this one image, yeah, it was an orb. It was like a statue, yeah, it was an orb, and there was like 8 food dogs around it. And I thought, wow, that looks really good, eh? It's like, there's more than 2. It's like, it's different. I go, you know what, man? I feel like that when I'm with my boys. So I got the panda head, the warrior, and I'm going to get a whole bunch of food dogs around it. Yeah.
Dude.
So that's like the last piece of the puzzle.
So are you planning to get your whole, but like up to your neck and stuff even?
The neck is I'm still questioning it, but everything else is pretty much confirmed.
Okay, cool. So you're definitely gonna come up to here at least.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
The whole.
Yeah, pretty much, bro. Pretty much.
What about your dick when it's erected, bro? Is there enough space there for you, bro?
Not enough, bro. Not enough, bro.
Hey, I love the honesty, bro.
Not enough space.
Hey, what about the bottom of the feet? Would you ever do that?
Nah, I probably wouldn't do that. I'll do the top part of the feet.
Waste, eh?
Yeah, I'll do the top part of the feet, but other than that, nah. Because you walk on it all the time, and when you do, because I do Muay Thai too. So when you do Muay Thai, you're pivoting on your foot a lot. You're just gonna wear it out.
Yeah, true. Actually, I'm really curious now. Does anyone ever? Probably at least one person has done that shit.
No, yeah, people tattoo their palms and the thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but like for like my life and my lifestyle.
So impractical, bro.
Yeah, I mean, and if I'm gonna be doing a lot of running and all of that, there's no point.
Oh yeah, facts, bro.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to like you obviously openly talk about like your jail time and everything because it's been such a huge character builder for you. You were there for 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years, bro. 4 years I did. So when I first come in, I spent about maybe a week at MWC, so that's Silverwater. Then I got tipped off to Bathurst. I spent about a year and a bit there. Bathurst, probably like the worst out of all the jails that I've been to, mainly because like you don't have much like people there. It's a very
isolated.
No, not isolated. Yeah, so like the population of the jail is very Koori dominated. So for those that don't know, it's Aboriginal people that are native to New South Wales. So they call themselves Koori.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you go to Queensland, the Aboriginal people there will call themselves Murris. Yeah. Anyway, so it's a Koori dominated jail. So not many boys from Sydney up there, and you feel like, you know, it's there's always like, just if there's ever tension or something pops off in the yard, you're up against like fucking 50 to 100 boys.
Fuck.
Yeah. So there's only like 4 or 5 Asian boys, maybe like 5, 10 Islander boys, a couple of Lebo boys. Damn. Not really like ethnics up there. Maybe like half the yard maybe might be Aussie, but there's not really much ethnics up there. It's a Koori-dominated jail. So yeah, I felt like when I was up there, it was a big. I did a lot of growing up there as a person. Yeah.
So you were there for 1.5 years.
Yeah, 1.5 years.
At Bathurst.
Yeah, and I learned a lot of things when I was at Bathurst too. Yeah, I learned that's when I learned one of my first life stories about everyone comes from a different walk of life. So when I was up there, I realized that when I was talking and meeting a lot of new people, everyone had a different life experience and a really different belief and outlook on life. Besides your core values of no snitches, no rapists, and all of that.
Yep.
Everyone had a kind of different belief and reaction to when they watched the news or they watched TV series. And I thought, this is really weird, Why is that, And I remember having this conversation with my cellie one time and we were talking about our opinions on girls. I don't know if you guys ever watched If You Are the One or Are You the One? Chinese dating show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My grandma loves that shit.
Yeah, so, me and my cellie used to watch that a lot. And we had really different perspectives on life and girls. Yeah. And I used to really...
What was the background of your cellie?
He was
Which
Vietnamese.
is the guy that he's in the same cell with, by the way.
I've been through quite a few cellies. I had a Vietnamese one, a Korean one. Most of the time they were Asian. Sometimes I had an Islander one.
Okay. But the one that you watched, If You Are the One with...
Yeah, it was Vietnamese.
Okay.
Shout out to Peter. He owns Foodie at Mount Pritchard. The next... Everyone goes there for pho.
I think I've heard of it.
It's right next to the Speedway. Oh, you won't because you're vegan, but... But most people have gone there. My cellie, as soon as he got out, he opened it.
Legend.
Very successful restaurant now. Very, very nice guy. But yeah, so I remember I clashed with a lot of his views. Okay, and instead of being angry that his views weren't like mine, I came to a point in my life where I was like, you know what, man, let's take a step back. Let's try to understand why his views and beliefs are like that. And then it made me a lot less of an angry person in terms of in my everyday life. Because I used to think, fuck man, everyone thinks weird up here. Everyone's weird. Yeah. And then I realized, you know what? They're not really weird. It's just everyone has different beliefs because of the life that they've walked that has led them up to that point. So as soon as I started realizing that, I became a lot more acceptable. I had a lot more acceptance for people's beliefs.
So what was the catalyst for you to start thinking like that?
Basically so when we were watching If You Are the One, and I'm like, bro, and I used to agree with some of the candidates that got up, and he wouldn't agree with their view on life. I go, why, bro? It's alright, man. It can be like that, bro. If he likes girls and party, he can like girls and partying. It's up to him, bro. Yeah. But that was when I started thinking like that, and then slowly, I was in the yard and I'd hear what boys think and how they...
Can you just tell us, for the people that don't understand what the yard is, real quick?
Oh, so it's just like the yard in the jail. So
when you get to work out and stuff.
Yeah. So basically, you're in your cell for, I don't know, 90% of the day, and then 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, wherever, depending on the jail, they'll open your doors, your cell doors, and you're able to go out to the yard. You spend most of your day in the yard, and then 3 o'clock you get locked in. So we're out in the yard, you get to talk to a couple of boys. I used to watch a lot of boys play chess, hear about their stories, and then that's when I started thinking, oh man, there's all these different people, bro. Everyone's weird. But I realized that everyone's just different. Yeah. So yeah, and then so that was the pivotal point where I started thinking like that for everything now. So now in my everyday life, when I come across people, even when people are angry for no reason, I just try to look at them like, oh man, this person's probably just upset with their life. Yeah.
Most of the times it's because they hate their lives. And
Yeah.
They're not living their true purpose. That's why they have to project it on other people. Because when you meet someone that's truly happy, someone that's living their best life, someone that's pursuing their dreams, you never see that person berate someone else.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And then, so what happened after that? I came back to Sydney to get sentenced. So I went to Parklea for a bit, and then went to Windsor. I got sentenced at Windsor, and at this point I was expecting to go home because it's been about close to 2 years. Okay, and I thought, all right, my charges, I should get about 2 years, if not, 6 months more, maybe a year more at most. I thought, all right, sweet. And then I got 2 years extra, and I thought, fuck, another 2 years. I already done 2 years.
Yeah, and that 2 years would have felt like the longest time for you as well.
Yeah, well, you know what? It was kind of like a pivotal moment, another pivotal moment in my life, because up until that point, I don't know if I've told this story once before, but up until that point, I was praying to God every day. I was praying to God, yeah. For those that don't know, I found a little bit of faith when I was inside, I was praying to God every day, asking God for two things. One, to protect my friends and family through health and safety. If they came to visit me on the weekend, I'd hope they have safe travels. And the other one was I promised I'd be a better person if God gave me 2 years or less, or 6 months, or even a year at most. And I promised him, and I told him that I'd become a better person if that was the case. Anyways, when I got sentenced, they added 2 years extra onto my what I'd already done, and I thought, wow, I lost faith in God.
Yep.
Absolutely lost faith in God.
Yep.
Go, you know what, fuck this. I'm never praying again.
Yep.
Okay, never praying again, because I used to pray every morning when I got up and before I went to bed. And I thought, man, fuck this, bro. Never praying again.
Yeah, what a waste of my time.
Yeah. So after I got sentenced, they sent me off to Oberon to do the young offenders program. Okay, and then when they sent me off to the young offenders program, part of the program was doing these long ass hikes through the bush. For those that don't know, the young offenders program is for young offenders who they're trying to reduce the recidivism rate or reoffending rate of young offenders, because it's quite high. You know, once you're in the system, you're most likely going to come back. And these programs aim to like push kids to their limits and to teach them that you know, you can do a lot in life if you just put in a bit of hard work.
Yep.
So in the program, there's 3 camps that you got to go through the Blue Mountains. And mind you guys, this camp's not like what you see on Instagram where you're walking through in your Nikes, carrying a little backpack on a fire trail just to see a good view. It's literally, you're carrying like a 20-kilo bag. It's got your food, your water for 2-3 nights. You're wearing these ugly ass boots with like, what's it called, sponges. You put sponges into the end of the boots because 100 inmates have worn it before you. So these shoes are rock hard. They're gonna hurt, yeah? And you're not walking on a fire trail either. You're walking on rocks and sticks all day. Sheesh. So there's no flat ground. So it's a pain in the ass.
That's character building.
Yeah. And the second camp, they make you walk all the way to the bottom of the valley just to walk back up to the top of the next one. So, and I knew that one was coming, yeah. So I thought, fuck, man, I gotta take my life into my own hands. I gotta like train hard so I can, because I know what's coming. So I gotta prepare myself. I gotta do
before the camp. You started going hard.
Yeah, I gotta do the best that I can. I gotta make myself make this camp as easy as possible. Because I'm watching all the boys come back from the camps, and I'm like, they're all like broken and crying. They're all broken, and I'm like, fuck, that can't be me.
Yeah.
I gotta train hard, you know. And at that moment, I was looking around the yard. I go, all right, those are the boys that I want to train with. Those are the boys that are training hard. So that's when I started realizing that, you know, everyone trained differently. So I started training with a bunch of different boys, and I kind of took bits and pieces from every bloke, the way that they like training, and I added it to my own training. And then, so I spent about a year and a bit at Oberon, and then I came back to Sydney. And the whole time I was at Oberon, I always had a training partner or a training team, boys that I was training with, which was really good because you push yourself. When I went back to Silverwater, because you're in minimum security, you don't know who you're mixing with. So you don't know if this person that you're talking to is a dog from the boneyard, because that's how they reintegrate the protection population back into the main population.
What's the boneyard? So
the boneyard's where protection, yeah? Anyone that's a snitch, a dog, anyone that bails, like they go to protection.
Yeah, because the other inmates would want to kill
them.
Yeah,
so they get harmed by other inmates. So how they reintegrate protection inmates back into the main population is when
you mean in outside of jail? Or?
No, like main population, like general population inmates.
Okay.
How they mix them again is the general population inmates, when they get to a certain classification, minimum security, so when you start off maximum security. Yeah. Then you make your way to minimum security to be able to apply for work release, weekend leave, all the other stuff, to get all the privileges.
Okay, because they're slowly going from maximum, because that's when they're most dangerous, and then they keep going. Okay.
Yeah. So you got to behave yourself in a certain way, not get caught for certain things, and make it to minimum security.
Got it.
But when you make to minimum security, they think, all right, well, you're not going to act up, so you're not most likely not going to harm the protection inmates. So that's how you reintegrate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when I went back to Silverwater, because I wanted to do
which was
work
the maximum?
Release. No, minimum security. Okay. There's a minimum security part where you do work release and you get weekend leave and day leave. And they think like, all right, you're not going to fuck up your day leave and your weekend leave and your work release to have a fight with someone or hurt someone.
Yep.
You're going to behave yourself. So when I knew that I was going back into that population, I thought, man, how am I going to stay away from all these people? I don't know who's who. You know, I don't know who's a good bloke and who's a shit cunt. So I thought, all right, well, what I'll do is I'll just train by myself, and I'll just talk to the boys only that I know, and I'll just double check with them. Is that kind of boneyard? Is that kind of boneyard? Is that kind of boneyard? I just stay away from, And I thought, man, I'll just train by myself. And that's when I really forced myself to, like, not rely on a training partner, not rely on anyone else. I just, get this done and get this done for myself only. And I just kind of like stayed in my own lane for most of the time. I was there, and then.
And that's how one out training.
Yeah, that's how OneOutTraining. Like, I thought about. OneOutTraining came out, and then basically, but there was a negative side to that because I was always by myself. I was sort of like condescending on everyone else, and I thought I was better than everyone else, even though they probably fucking snitches or dogs or rapists or whatever. Like, I probably had no right to be a condescending person, even though like I probably was. That like I had every right to be because I wasn't, because I wasn't a snitch or a dog or a rapist. I should have still treated people like fairly, somewhat, and then
you shouldn't have just fully written them off.
Yeah, but because I'll tell you what happened. Closer towards the end of my sentence, there's this one guy that I really disliked. And I heard he was from the boneyard.
Why'd you dislike him?
I heard he was from the boneyard.
Oh, that's why you disliked him.
Yeah, I heard he was from the boneyard, so I really didn't want to communicate with him. Anyways, to paint a picture, this guy's like light-skinned African. He claimed to be of a certain bikie club, I can't remember. He was about like 2 meters tall and 110, 120 kilos. Sheesh. The bloke was big, but I still didn't care because in my mind I was like, fuck this cunt, he's a boneyard. Okay, so in my mind I thought I was better than him. Anyways, we had a little bit of disagreement, bit of conflict. And he offered me to the kitchen, and I go, yeah, fucking oath, let's go.
As in, like, he wants to fight you in the kitchen?
Yeah, one-on-one in the kitchen. Okay, so I went to the kitchen. We had a one-on-one. I got destroyed, man. I got destroyed. I didn't land a single punch.
Sheesh.
My ear was, my right ear was deaf for a whole week. Like, yeah, I didn't land it. He destroyed me, yeah. And that, even though I lost to a boneyard and I lost that fight, I thought, fuck, man, that really humbled me. But at the same time, I thought, oh man, I can't like give these guys like a reason to think that they're better, like, or they're at the same level. Because you're living in that environment, you have to still believe that like that is the lowest of the lowest to be a rapist, snitch, boneyard, rapist, snitch, or a pedophile. You're at the lowest level. I had to still believe that was my core belief and value. But yeah, and then I was on work release.
Wait, move back a little bit. Like, they just let you fight? Like the cops just. They don't give a fuck?
So it's correctional officers, There was no cameras in the kitchen.
So
and because you're in minimum security, there's a lot less, I'd say, security. Yeah, you're pretty much like allowed to walk around, do whatever you want, as long as you're still inside the compound. You're not locked into your cell. You go to sleep whenever you want.
Damn.
And because at the time everyone had an ankle bracelet, where it tracks you, so they let you off into the real world to go to work. So there's some kind of lenience of like security when you're in minimum security, And it's a good life because you're not locked into your cell. You're just locked into the unit. Yeah.
Okay. So after that, like, you started realizing like, fuck, man, like, even though this guy's a shit cunt, like, I gotta respect him to a certain level, right?
I wouldn't say respect. I'd say I'd take it on the chin, the fact that I lost. I wouldn't respect him for the person that he is. But I got to give him respect for, calling me out and like calling me out for treating him like shit. Yeah, because I had no real reason to really dislike him, but I got to somewhat respect him for calling me out for treating him like shit, and then going on with it. But even though I was like, he's like twice my size, I still got to take it on the chin.
Respect, bro.
Thanks,
respect. Bro. That's not easy to do, man. When you got to stand up for yourself to someone that's like towering over you.
I wasn't really standing up to myself because I was kind of being a dickhead to him first. So but like I have to like when I look back and I have to really be honest with myself in that situation. Was I right or wrong, etc. Yeah.
And so you felt like that you were wrong in some.
Yeah, I'll admit that I was wrong in some certain senses, but I also have to accept that at the time of that incident, I thought I was right, which led me to where I am. Yeah. Okay.
And so that was in the minimum place.
Yeah, that was in minimum security, and then. Like meanwhile, like everyone's going to work every day outside the jail, coming back to the jail at night to sleep, and then going to work, weekend leave and day leave. Yeah.
What were you working as during that time?
I was a labourer on a construction site in Neutral Bay. Had a great view of the harbour bridge.
Oh.
It was a really, really good time.
Do they still pay you the full wage or?
So funny, yeah. So they kind of like, I wouldn't say take advantage of us, but also say take advantage of us because we're inmates, okay? We're inmates. We're given a chance to work outside in the community while we're supposed to be serving our jail sentence time, yeah? So obviously the public and community wouldn't like that because, we're supposed to be inside jail.
Yeah.
But it's their program of saying that, oh, we're going to try to reintegrate them back to society because they've been behaving well, okay? Meanwhile, these jobs that are available, they'll look at us like, okay, well, how can we, what's that word? Not abuse. How can we make the most?
Milk.
Yeah, how can we milk this out? How can we milk these inmates? These guys are going to be so compliant,
Yeah.
They're not going to want to fuck up.
Yeah.
They want to be outside. They want to work. They'd rather be out in the public than be stuck in a jail cell. We'll just pay minimum wage. We'll just pay minimum wage, They can work for dog shit money, because they're getting paid like $21 to fucking carry bricks up to the top level, and they're just laboring,
Yeah.
On the construction site, in the hottest weather, in the rainiest weather, whatever it was, whatever condition it was, 10 hours a day, I will do whatever it takes just to be not inside the jail. Just to get away from all that stuff. And then, what happened? Oh yeah. And that, that really developed a resilience for me, because at that time I still wanted my body goal. And I thought, man, I gotta have my six pack before I get out.
Yep.
So I forced myself to train before and after work. So I'd wake up about 4 o'clock in the morning. I'll do a quick half an hour training session. It'd be cardio or abs, like 210 burpees or core on the bar, depending on the day. And then I'd rush off to work, ride my bike all the way to ride from Silverwater. So when Wentworth Point is over that bridge.
Yeah.
I'd ride from Silverwater Jail all the way to the train station. And then catch the train, go to work, 10 hours on the job site, come back, do a training session. If I spent too long talking to someone on the way, when I got back to the jail, I'd be out of I'd be out of my routine, because I'd have to be bang, 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 bang. Wow. And this is when I learned that having a phone was the biggest distraction in your life, because that was when I had no phone, And I thought, wow, man, my routine's so good. Like, I'm progressing everything so well in my life. I'm on the job site, I'm working hard, I'm off the job site. I do get my training session done. As soon as my training session was done, eat, shower, sleep, straight into bed, get 7 hours of sleep every night. And I still fit 2 training sessions and work 10 hours on the job site, not including, it'll take me 45 minutes to get from Silverwater to Neutral Bay every day and then back. Coming back through the traffic, oh my God, the city. Going through Wynyard Station, shocking. But yeah, that really developed a resilience for me in terms of
discipline.
Discipline and making money. So I was getting paid $20 an hour to be on the job, which isn't too bad considering you're in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
especially compared to third world countries and stuff.
Yeah, and at the end of the year, I think I saved a good 30-40 grand.
Damn.
Because you
can't spend it.
You can't spend it, Yeah. So it worked out pretty well in the end. And then I think after that, whatever job I did post jail, I was just grateful for it, because I didn't have to be in the sun. I've known I've done the hard yards.
100%. Dang. So when you said you were in the yard and you were looking at different people's workouts, what were some of the gems that you took from other people's workouts?
So all the boys had one thing in common: they didn't give up. They never quit. Yeah. And when I was training different certain groups, there's always one bloke that always try to outshine the other blokes. So for example, I train with the Lebos. There's always one that's at the top. He's trying to push everyone else, but he always makes sure that he's still at the top. Same thing with the Islanders, same thing with the Asians. You don't always get a group of Asians training, unfortunately.
Oh man.
Yeah. Anyways, so the first group that I trained with, my mate Steve, Korean bloke, he liked doing CrossFit explosive work.
Nice.
Yeah, CrossFit explosive calisthenics. Well, it was all pretty much calisthenics, yeah. But he liked doing explosive and quick and cardio, burpees, a lot of that stuff. I remember when I first got to Oberon and I looked out the window and I seen this guy just training absolutely hard, yeah. And I was like, fuck, man, I don't like his style of training, but I like his drive. And I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go hang out with that guy. I'm gonna go train with that guy. Maybe I'll get some of that. And I thought, the moment I started training with him, and up until he left Oberon, I got a lot out of it. Yeah, and the way he's training. So just being very explosive, being very fit. And I lost a good, I think a good 5 to 10 kilos training with him.
So how much did you weigh before you went into jail?
I think I was like 85, 90, close to there.
85, 90.
Yeah, and at my lowest, I was about 68 kilos.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a huge difference.
Yeah, and then after my friend Steve left, the Korean bloke, I started training with, I was in between two groups. My friend Mahe, Tongan bloke, shout out to you if you ever watch this, bro. Great bloke, very nice guy. He was always very nice and polite to me.
Yeah.
He loved running. So now that I look back, because he loved boxing, hitting the pads, bag, and running. Now I always question, bro, why does this bloke love running so much? I fucking hate running, bro. Running is the worst.
Facts.
Yeah, running's the worst, bro. Now that I look back at his training, he's got a very boxing style type of training, you know. Did a lot of running, but the bloke would run 100 laps in the yard.
100?
Yeah, the bloke would run 100 laps around the yard just to start the day, and the bloke will go, like, sometimes he'll do like a full water fast. For no reason. Why are you doing a water fast? But you're not cutting for no fight, you know. So the bloke would be training like that, yeah. And you know, training with him kind of built up another resilience in, like, bro, you know, just keep going.
Just do the shit that you don't want to do.
Yeah, just do the shit you don't want to do. Just do it and try to keep up with the boys, you know. And then I trained with my friend Alan and some Middle Eastern boys. So Alan was a Syrian. Shout out to you if you're watching this too, bro. He really focused on like growth in calisthenics, so doing like slow reps, control. Yeah, hypertrophy. And he focused more on body parts. You know, we might get out, do upper body every morning, and then in the afternoon it might be legs, might be chest, might be shoulders, might be back. So we focused a little bit more on that. Mind you, he was still doing like a separate like cardio session of burpees and sprints. Okay. So he had his what's it called, blocks, different blocks, you know, different blocks of like training sessions. Whereas the other boys would be like be whatever, all over the place, full body fitness. Yeah. And I kind of
he was more organized.
Yeah, it was more organized, like, and then like it'd be like the other boys, when they train chest, it would be a little bit different, a lot more explosive. And then I took bits and pieces from all the boys, and I kind of just like I done a bit of everything when I went down to Silverwater. Yeah.
Okay, so you got into like explosiveness and got a bit of mass from this guy, did the dirty work like running the laps stuff. So it's pretty much like a full body thing.
Yeah,
and
man.
That's what makes you an all-rounder, holistic athlete as well.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. When I started training with all the boys, and then I realized at the end of like training with each group, I go, man, you know what? To be the best version of myself, I need to be fucking at least relatively good at every category.
Facts.
I need to do every bit of fitness.
Yep.
So when I became a PT and a coach, I thought, man, I need to do everything. Even yoga, I need to do all of that. Oh, yeah. I need to do everything.
Flexibility.
You know? Yeah, calisthenics. I need to learn how to weight lift. I need how to learn power lift. I need how to learn bodybuilding. I need to do everything. But like now that my time is running short in terms of like trying to put all my energy into money, I have to dial it down. But back at my peak of love for fitness, I wanted to do everything. And I preach that as much as I can, but then I realized as a coach, general population people, they only got a certain amount of hours in a day. They can't do everything.
No.
Yeah.
You got to specialize and do the things that you enjoy, that you can do every single day.
Yeah.
To fit your lifestyle. Hey?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, if you love fitness that much, man, try to do everything.
Yeah.
Because all of it makes you a better person.
Exactly. It's like literally, what's that word? The word holistic. It's just a whole body thing. So you can't just focus on just your legs, just your upper body or something. Yeah, because
there'd be boys that just be doing chin dip push every day. So that's just upper body workout. Chin ups, dips, push ups, and that's all they were doing. And they just never wanted to train legs.
And we all know like those are the ones that they never wear shorts.
Yeah. And I thought, I don't want to be that guy. I want to do everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what was your diet? Because you had good sleep. You had like 7 hours of sleep. But what were you eating every day for you to make those gains?
Okay, so I'm gonna bring this back to Oberon. So this is when I started training. I thought, you know what? If I'm gonna start training now, I gotta maximize my results. I need to learn how to count calories. You know. And you know, you guys out there, be grateful that you have an app like MyFitnessPal, whatever app you use. Okay, because literally every day I was writing down in a notepad and I was doing manual calculations. What I'll do is I'd write, let's say, because I wasn't vegan yet, yeah? So let's say, I think I still remember it. A black and gold tuna can was 160 calories.
Yeah.
for 30 grams of protein. Those are the only two things I was tracking, yeah? So the only two things I was tracking was to be in a calorie deficit, to lose fat, and 2.2 times my body weight of protein to put on muscle. There's the only two things that I was tracking.
So what were those numbers?
I think it was about 180 grams of protein or 170 grams of protein, and my calorie deficit was about 1,600, I think.
Fuck, that's pretty less.
I know, but you know, now that I'm an actual fitness professional, I realized it was too less. Okay, and I was.
So you're losing too much.
Yeah, I was losing too much, and I didn't realize. Yeah, for 2 years I was in a calorie deficit.
Yeah.
For 2 years, so my body would have adapted like 6 months in to the 1,600, and I would have stopped losing fat a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I was still chasing that six pack. Okay. Only now I realize that you got to reverse diet at some stage.
What do you mean by that?
So when you reverse diet, yeah. So let's say for now, you want to lose weight, you want to hit 1,600 calories as your deficit, you want to drop fat. You start losing weight maybe 8 to 12 weeks. 8 to 12 weeks, you've lost the max amount of weight you can lose. What happens is, because your body loves to adapt, it'll adapt to the 1,600 calories. So let's say you perform your everyday movements, yeah? You walk to the shops, okay? Let's say, hypothetically speaking, that cost you 100 calories to do your regular, okay? Regular exercise. Now, you go into a calorie deficit, yeah? What happens is, your body tells your brain, hey man, we're dying. We're not having enough nutrients to survive, to function every day. So, because we're not getting enough nutrients into our body, 1,600 calories, we need to reduce the cost of our exercises. So to walk to the shops, it might not cost you 100 calories anymore. It might cost you 60 calories.
Okay.
So the quality of your movement reduces. Yeah. So your body will adapt to the amount of fuel that you're consistently giving it. So because I'm at 1,600 calories all the time, my body probably adapted to that, and we'll just use these 1,600 calories, and we won't take any more fat because you need fat to survive. Yeah. So the quality of my training probably dipped. But I didn't know that. I just kept pushing.
So as in you couldn't train as hard?
No, I still train as hard, but I wasn't losing the fat because my body was just holding on to, because it adapts. Yeah, your body adapts. It just held on to the fat. Okay. And for, I don't know, man, until the last 2-3 months, I probably, I was stuck at a 4-pack for ages. Yeah. I was looking real good, but you know, because your body adapts.
So what would you have had to do to get that 6-pack?
So I would have had to reverse diet, so get my calories back up to a maintenance. So when your body goes up to a maintenance, I don't know, 2,000 calories, whatever it was for me, well, your body would do, all right, well, because our calories are back up, we have more energy to spare. So walking to the shops will probably cost us 100 calories again. So your body will start putting in the quality of your movements. And then once your body gets used to that again, you can drop the calories and your body will start losing weight again. Yeah.
So it's not a straight line. You got to go down, then up again, and then down again.
Yeah. Because if you stay in it forever, your body will just adapt because it needs to survive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But what were you eating like on an everyday basis?
Bro, it was
what were they giving
4
you?
cans of tuna, bro.
I'll never forget
this.
That.
4 cans of tuna, a liter of milk, some veggies here and there. I'd avoid a lot of carbs unless it had protein, so like beans and stuff I'd still probably eat. But my main thing was 4 cans of tuna, bro. 4 cans of tuna.
Like, was the flavor or just like spring water, bro?
Oh, bro, you know what? I got rid of all the spring water. Never again. It was just tuna in oil, and then I'll put a little bit of barbecue sauce, a little bit of sweet chili sauce on top. That was my fucking thing every day.
But did you enjoy it? Were you just like, you just ate it like, fuck it, it's just for the games?
You know what, man? I learned for a long time that like, it's all about how you say it in your mind, yeah? It's like, all right, well, do I want this short-term relief and happiness of enjoying my food, or do I want this long-term goal of achieving my 6-pack? I always ask myself that question. Every time I question myself, what do you want, you know? Fuck, I want the 6-pack. Eat the tuna. I want the 6-pack. Eat the tuna.
Wow. So it's all about delaying the gratification.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I thought, fuck, man, every time, and I knew that if I gave myself an early gratification of enjoying, let's say, I don't know, a piece of chocolate, or a cookie, well, what's the point? You're enjoying it, you're still stuck in jail, you know? But if I forced myself, because there's a timeline, I wanted to get out with the 6-pack so I can enjoy, like I can look good. But if I get out and I don't look good, then I fucked up. All because I wanted to eat a fucking cookie a couple of times a week. I was stuck in jail, you know? Why are you eating cookie for? You don't deserve it.
Especially because you're still in jail.
Yeah,
Fair enough
yeah,
if it was like a celebration when you got out or something. Huh?
Yeah, and I thought, what are you celebrating with that cookie, man? You know. So that's when it really taught me just to dial in and like, you know, do the hard yards.
Yeah. Can you speak more about delaying gratification, like in life in general? Because that works with not just fitness, but like your goals and like women and like just playing an instrument, anything like you want to progress in, instead of like doing social media or something.
Yeah, you know what?
Being on social media.
So delaying gratification now, I realize that like I have to teach that with my clients too, even in my personal life. So, you know, when I first got out, I spent my money like that all the time. Like, I'd see a nice pair of shoes, like, I want that, man. I haven't had a nice pair of shoes in years. I want these clothes. I want to buy that. I'd go out and I'd spend money on whatever, you know, because I want to enjoy life. But I realized now.
When you first got out?
Yeah, when I first got out. And then when I spent all my money, I realized, man, what did I do? Fuck, I should have just used that money to make more money. Delayed gratification, you know. Should have put it into a business. I might be broke for a year or two, but I'd be rich after that. And I thought, man, all that money I spent on clothes and all the materialistic things, I should have invested in a business to make myself even more rich, and I would have been a lot better off now.
You can buy more clothes as well.
Yeah, I could buy more clothes, you know. So like now I'm applying that to my life now. It took me a bit to learn and understand, but that's one of the things that I've applied delayed gratification to. Everything else, I always think about doing the hard yards. Doing the hard yards first to understand what hard is really like. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to go back to, like, you were talking about how you're vegan. That's why we connect really well too. Out of all my friends, he's definitely one of the most jacked vegan friends. He is like the quintessential example of like how even if you're vegan, you can still be jacked. So
yeah.
How did you start that journey of like veganism?
So real quickly, I was studying to be a PT because I realized I wanted to, you know, work in the fitness industry after working at Audi and doing construction. I go, Ben, you know what? Everyone's asking me to train them. I might as well get my license, get my certification, qualifications, become a PT and get paid for it. So when I was starting to be a PT at Australian Institute of Fitness, there was a guy in the class, vegan. His name's Will. Shout out to Will. And I remember sitting there and I'm watching him eat and I'm like, bro, what are you eating, man? And he's like, oh, you know, just some beans and that. And I'm like, bro, where's the protein? Where the fuck is this protein, bro? What are you eating, cuz? And he's like, bro, I'm vegan. I go, what do you mean you're vegan? Like, you know, the idea was still new to me, relatively new. I go, what do you mean you're vegan? But I never met a vegan in my life.
Yeah.
I go, what do you mean you're vegan? And he's like, bro, I'm vegan, like you know, for the animals and the planets. I don't eat meat and that, and no dairy. I go, are you serious? What? Where do you get your protein from, bro? How?
What is this wizardry?
Yeah, what is this? How can you live this lifestyle? Anyways, mind you, like he told me he gets it through protein shakes and other sources. And at the time I was like, all right, cool. And then as I got to know this bloke a little bit more, this bloke was like the nicest person in the world. Like I've met a lot of good people in my life, but like this person had like the kindest spirit and the kindest soul. And I thought, wow, man, like this guy genuinely does not mean anyone harm. And he's always like, before he acts, he always thinks about how his actions may affect the people around him.
Very self-aware.
Yeah, very, very, very nice guy, self-aware, and he's always conscious of that. He's never selfish. And I thought, fuck, man, you know what? He's going through life very humble, very nice, very positive. I want a bit of that, you know. I want a bit of that in my personality. And I thought, well, you know what? Maybe I try this vegan thing. Maybe it'll make me a better person. So I didn't go full vegan at the beginning. I just went vegan breakfast. Very easy, you know. Oats, almond milk. You know, how can you go wrong? Yeah, very easy. And I thought, I'll have a vegetarian lunch. So I'll have maybe eggs with something. And then I'll have a regular dinner, beef, steak, chicken, whatever. As the time went on, I decided, all right, I'll have vegan breakfast and lunch. Got easier and easier, but I still had like meat for dinner whenever I went out, you know. And then the Game Changers doco came out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Mind you, disclaimer, guys, okay. Now that I look back and I do the research myself and I look at the high-performing athletes, there's not much really of a difference in like diets, but at the time, I understand that they were very biased to promoting the vegan thing.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, they were very biased to it, so I understand that, okay? But at the time, when I was watching, I'm going, you know what? I don't need meat. That's it. I'm done. I'm sweet. I'm ready to be a better person. Because that was my driving factor. And then I became vegan. All my friends laughed at me. My friends were like, bro, you miss chicken, bro. Come on, man. And then that's when my ego kicked in. I go, you know what? Fuck all of yous. I ain't eating meat again. I'm never eating meat again. Don't need meat. Don't worry about it. We'll see how long this lasts. And then, so ever since then, I haven't gone back. And then as time went, it became less for health.
And when was that?
I don't even know when it happened. Like it just, as the time went along, so this was about like 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so as time went on, it became less about health and it became more about the animals and the planet. And I thought, wow, like, because when I first did it, I just wanted to be like the ultimate vegan athlete.
Facts.
So I thought about the health.
Same.
And then as I watched like bits and pieces about like, the planet and health and the way the world's going with, the planet. And I thought, wow, you know what? I might not be doing much, but at least I'm doing something.
Yep.
And I thought that's what kept me to stay vegan. And yeah.
It's like when they say, oh, it's just one plastic bag. But then when every single person throws away that plastic bag or takes that plastic bag, it's 8 billion. So yeah, you'll be just one vegan person. But then if the whole world is vegan, bro, we'll change the whole world, man.
It's true. It's true. And at the beginning, I never really tried to push my view and opinion on people. I just thought, man, I'd waste a lot of energy trying to change the world. But maybe when I'm maybe somewhere down the track when I have a lot more power influence, maybe I can change a couple more minds. But until then, I just keep doing myself.
Just lead
by example. And every now and then someone will ask me, and I always tell people, look, man, I don't recommend being a vegan if your lifestyle, if you can't accommodate to that lifestyle, because you're going to have to go out and be social with people, and there's always not many vegan options. So people will cave to that. Yeah. To social events. And I told people, look, if you really want to be vegan, you really cared about the planets and the animals, just do breakfast and lunch, and that's it. If you do it all throughout the week and you only eat meat at dinner, you're doing a lot of help for the environment. Yeah. So I always told people that too.
2 out of 3 meals is massive already. And so what challenges did you have becoming vegan? Because I had heaps. My struggle was for at least 3 years, I was on and off for ages. I kept guilt tripping myself when I couldn't stick to it. So how did you navigate that lifestyle?
So the not eating meat part has been real easy. It's the dairy stuff and all of that. So let's say I go out to dinner with all my friends and that for a social event. Yep. I have no problem not eating meat for dinner, but sometimes it's only vegetarian. So let's say pasta comes out and it's got dairy in it. And I go, well, I'm never going to be a fussy eater. I'll just eat as long as I'm still not eating meat. So I'll be flexible when I go out. If I'm at home, I'll make the choice to be vegan. If I go out and there's no vegan option, I'll be flexible. So I've never had no problem not eating meat. And I've been a big desserts person all the time. So I never had a problem. I'm like, if you're going to give me cake, I'll eat it. Okay, I'm not going to say no to cake. But, that's only if I go out. Yeah. So I've kind of...
on Last King Lacrosse with the ice cream.
Yeah, so I've kind of developed this boundary where it's I'm willing to push that boundary here and there because of my love for sweets, but at the same time, I won't eat meat. Yeah.
That's where you draw the line.
Yeah, and if I go buy dessert at Woolies, I'll go the vegan option. Yeah, and if I go to a restaurant and there's a vegan option for dessert, I'll go the vegan option too.
Okay. And did you, when you did first go vegan, did you lose a lot of weight? Did you? Oh yeah,
I dropped 2 kilos, 2-3 kilos. So what happened was I didn't understand how much protein and how much calories I was consuming less because I eat a lot of salads. Yep. And I thought, fuck man, something's going on here. I need to start counting my calories again. So then I started doing and I realized that, but I was under consuming a lot of protein also. So I thought, all right, well, I've got to start drinking 5 shakes a day to make sure my protein's matching. And then, so I got my muscle back up after drinking 5 shakes a day.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
It's a lot of farts, bro.
Yeah, my girlfriend will tell you.
So yeah, because I feel that's the main obstacle that most people that try this vegan diet, they're like, oh fuck, I'm losing weight. No, this is not for me. Then they shit themselves and then they go straight back to meat. What would you say to help those people that do go through that?
I would always say just like do what I did, stick to the first two meals of the day, going vegan. I never push anyone to have the vegan dinner, only because it's just natural for humans to just be part of social events.
Yep.
And if the majority of people are going to be eating meat, you're never really going to overcome it unless you have a iron mindset like us, where it's like your belief and value overcomes a little bit of peer pressure.
Facts.
So I never really, and I look at people, no offense to the general population, I look at people and I was like, bro, you don't have the mindset for it. You must really believe in the vegan lifestyle. You must really believe that you're helping the planet. You must really think that goes above eating with your friends.
Just this little dopamine hit as well.
Yeah, you got to really, and you can't cave in, and unfortunately, a majority of society, they've got really got weak minds. So yeah.
Your values have to be strong enough for you to really be like, no, this is the right thing. Like, I'm helping the planet by not eating this piece of flesh that was killed that didn't want to be killed.
Yeah, that was slaughtered,
Yeah. Let me have a quick break just to see if it's still recording. Come on, baby. Yes. Yeah. Oh, bro, you mind if I get it? I forgot to get my own.
Go for it.
My man. So, going back to the veganism thing, like, why do you think that the general population has such weak mindsets nowadays?
I think it's got to do with a lot. Like, I'll go back to, I can't quote this perfectly, but I think it's based off like what. It's going to sound very conspiracy. Okay.
Say it, brother.
The people that control the world, whatever they're throwing into our media, whatever they're throwing into the government, because they control the government, they control all the politicians, the movie stars, the main public people that everyone follows, yeah?
Facts.
And whatever they're promoting has caused everyone to have a weak mind. That's my theory. Yeah.
And what have they been promoting?
I feel like stuff that, like, to watch Netflix, that it's okay to, enjoy junk food, and like, all the why is all the cheap food the junk food? It's aimed to make us unhealthy, physically and mentally.
So this all kind of like what you're talking about right now. It reminds me of this cycle that I've really been resonating with recently. It's like the whole idea that weak men create hard times, and hard times create strong men. Strong men create
soft times.
Easy times.
Yeah.
And then there's easy times create weak men. And would you agree that and in the last like 10, 20 years have been the easiest of times?
Yeah.
And so now, which is why we've got the most amount of weak men as well.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, in the sense that, we don't have to worry about going to war.
No.
We don't have to worry about invasion. Yeah.
And that's why we're not Spartans.
Yeah. We're not living privileged lives, Like, back then it would be like, the men would be working hard and they'll be training for what someday a war might happen, so they need to be ready, or invasion from another country. But now we live in a time where there's a lot of peace, so why are we going to put ourselves through that to be prepared for what? People are in this delusional mindset where, it's always going to be peaceful. Yeah. So the war in Russia and Ukraine, that's just war in Russia and Ukraine. We're worlds away.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are not going to be ready for that.
No.
Yeah, they're not going to care. It's another world away. People are living in their own worlds and bubbles. So that's what I think, yeah.
Especially in like this day of social media where you can shy away from like what's happening in the real world and you can just distract yourself so easily with like
entertainment.
Anything, yeah.
Yeah.
100%, man. So how would you, like, for the people that want to build that iron mind, because you were saying, and I agree with what you're saying, that most of the general population have very weak minds and they can't think for themselves, they can't make decisions and go through with it, they can't do what they say and say what they do. But how would those people that want to get to the level of like just being the best version of themselves, how do they change their mindset, rewire themselves so they can start walking that path?
I would say there's a couple of things you can do, One, get rid of all the trash that you're consuming. So Netflix and all of that, start following people who might inspire you, who resonate with you. Two, you could get like a certain type of coach, like a life coach. It would, or get into the gym, because, you know, that put you through hard things, because there's not really much hard things to do in our world right now, you know. So you have to find these hard things to
Facts.
do. Yeah.
Look
So
for it, search for it.
yeah, you gotta search for it. You know, whether it's going to the gym or going to a fighting gym, doing hard things where you overcome obstacles. And what's the third one? I think that's it. Yeah, just getting rid of the mental stuff that you consume, and then physically putting yourself through hard stuff.
So, yeah, I really agree with that. Like, just everything you consume, whether that be like junk food or even the news or anything that people that you talk to as well. Like, if you, I feel like you change so much of your life if you just let go of all the negativity, and then pull out all the weeds, and then that's how like flowers start to bloom.
Yeah, I feel like you know, like the more I've moved away from certain people in my life, certain people in my life, the more I've moved away from it, and then the more I've seeked to, like, you know, be around people who are training consistently, training really hard, or very ambitious. The more that I communicate with people who are trying to reach new heights, I feel like that's put me in an environment where I'm forcing myself to grow all the time and becoming better, and becoming like even more disciplined.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So actually, most of the people, I don't know what the statistic was, but I think it was like 90% of people that come out of jail go back straight in, like within a year or two, or something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty high, bro. I mean, I feel like it's rather unfortunate, and I feel like most people are unlucky because they get put back into an environment where that environment got them to jail. Yeah. You know, and they just come back to that environment, so it's a never-ending cycle. Yeah, it's a never-ending cycle, and it's old habits, you know. I feel like I wasn't that one of those people, and there's always people who escape it, you know, and it's always like, I noticed a very common similarity with a lot of the boys who got out and then decided not to go back because they had children while they were inside. So like their partners gave birth, and they decided to, you know, I got to live a life for my child instead. You know, I've seen a lot of boys that turn their lives around through that. For me, it was more so my mum, how I broke the cycle. I just didn't want to disappoint her again, because I'm the only child, and, you know, the first time that I went to jail, that broke my heart. So I thought, you know, I couldn't do that again. So I had to like find an alternative. Yeah. Okay. And I wasn't gonna, like, I thought, all right, well, whatever I do, if it's gonna end me back in jail, I can't do it. So I have to find an alternative to make money.
100%, man. It's always you get put into the position where it's like, nah, there's no way I can go any deeper than this. And then that's when you make a change, hey? Because if it's too comfortable and you just want it, like, I feel like it's much harder to break old habits where the best way is to really be like, no, you get into a place of so much uncomfortability where you're like, no, this is at the end of the road for me.
Well, I feel like it's got to do with excuses too. I mean, so I'll give you an example, yeah? So when I first went in, my first 2 years, a lot of the people that I was meeting, I was getting a lot of contacts, like, because, you know, you'd meet and greet a lot of the boys. Oh, what are you in for, bro? You move ice? All right, how much can you get it for? Well, let me write down your details, you know? And you make a lot of connections like that. And then when you get out, it's like, oh, do you know, because that's the life that you've known, do you just go back to that? And I feel like, and I'm not trying to put anyone down, but, you know, you're kind of just giving yourself an excuse. Well, I don't know anything else. I'm not going to do anything else. This is all I know. It's rather unfortunate that's all you know, but are you going to let that are you going to let that excuse be the reason why you end up back in jail? If, you know, end up back in jail. You know, some boys obviously lucky to make the break and not ever get caught again. Some boys, unfortunately, just come back in and out. But for me, I thought, man, probability, I weighed up the probability and risk. I go, you know what, there's other avenues out there. There's other things to do out there. I can live a pretty good life without selling drugs.
Yeah, dude, I fully resonate with that because I was walking down that path, and then luckily I had friends that were good enough to be like, what the fuck are you doing, you dumb cunt? And then I was like, why'd you slap me? Like, they didn't actually physically do it, but like the words that they said to me was like, what are you doing, man?
Well, I had friends that pulled me up and told me about it and go, bro, just look after yourself, yeah? And it was like, that was the best that they could do, because at the end of the day, man, you don't want to tell someone how to live their life.
Facts.
So, and if you do, like, they can take it as a bad, like, as a negative.
True.
Yeah. And so, what are you telling me what to do for? Live your own life. But really, they're coming from a place with good intentions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're just helping you to see that.
Yeah. So my
your
friend,
imaginations.
Yeah. So my friends. Yeah. Sorry. Go on.
I'm just saying, like, your imagination is limited. That's why that's the only avenue that you see.
Yeah. Exactly. And my friends, they're only like coming from a good place, and it was up to me to interpret what they were saying to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think we have actually touched on like what did you do to get into jail? And how did you keep going down the path? Where did it start?
Okay, so the first time I went to jail was so I've been to jail twice. Yeah, first time I went was for a replica firearm. They raided my house looking for pills and weed because I used to sell weed and pills. They were looking for that. They found a replica firearm. They locked me up. I got bail, but one of the bail conditions was I needed to forfeit my passport. Little did I know, my passport, the cops took my passport and it was sitting in my property the whole time inside my property inside jail. So I couldn't forfeit my passport because it was sitting there the whole time. Okay, so they already had it. So I had the bail conditions, but I couldn't get out. And then when I finally got out,
like, couldn't you just like tell them like I got?
I tried telling them, but trust me, man, the jail system's the worst system, man.
What the fuck?
They're like, it's like no one's in reception, no one can get you out, no one can sign this, no one can do this.
So
we got no one on. It's a never-ending fucking cycle, bro. Yeah. Okay. Sometimes it feels like, bro, like they're just there to do their job. They don't want to help you.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, so moving on from that, I got out, and a friend of mine, because like if you go in without like snitching on anyone.
Yep.
In the criminal underworld, it's like, oh, well, this guy's not going to roll on us. He can be one of the boys. He's a valuable member in the underworld, If he ain't going to roll, he can make us money. So, one of my friends introduced me to someone, which introduced me to a heroin run. So then I started selling heroin. And then from there, I started selling a bit of ice too. And then...
This is after you just got back out?
Yeah, after I got out, yeah. And then after that, I got arrested. And another funny story, well, not really funny, but like, I have to go back another story actually. I'll tell you fun. So a friend of mine, someone owed him a bit of money, okay?
Yep.
And he couldn't get money from that person.
Yeah.
But what he had was a bunch of dud pills, a bunch of dud ecstasy pills. Didn't work, bro. I remember trying like 10 of these pills. It didn't work. Okay? Felt nothing. Anyways, so my mate's like, you know what? I'm gonna crush it up. I'm gonna put some MDMA in it, and then I'll turn it back into pills. But here, hold on to this for me. Yeah. So I just held on to the dud pills, but powder. Yeah. I held on to it for ages. When I got arrested, they found that too. Oh. It was about I can't remember how much it was. Like 250 grams or 500 grams. Can't remember. Yeah. But that's what done me over.
But if it's dud, like they could still fuck you up. Here's
the funny story. Okay, so when I got arrested, what I was arrested with was heroin. I can't remember, like an ounce or two, and a bit of ice. I think it was only a couple of bores. And then, but the other thing they found was the dud pills powder. And then when he went to the lab and it came back to be fluoramphetamine. I don't even know what the fuck that is. Okay, fluoramphetamine, commercial supply. Yeah. That's your biggest charge. See you later.
Oh, so it was illegal.
Yeah, it was illegal. It was illegal.
It
was like, I think it was like 56% fluoramphetamine. What the fuck? I don't even know what it was. Till this day, I still don't know. Okay? Yeah. But that's what got me the 4 years.
Damn.
Okay? So if you know anyone that's got charged for like an ounce or whatever, really it's about a year or two, not even that long, Yeah. So without the fluoramphetamine, I probably would have copped half the time.
Damn.
Yeah. But yeah.
But it was all meant to be, eh?
Yeah, it was all meant to be. The extra 2 years is when I started training.
Exactly. And that's what made you fucking beast like today. Because if you didn't go through that, then you wouldn't have been... There's a big chance that you could have gotten into like Netflix and all that kind of stuff. Well,
to be fair, guys, in the first 2 years of my incarceration, I did nothing but read and play cards. Did nothing but read and play cards. I didn't even train. Like I trained maybe once or twice, and I got over. I go, it's not for me, And I spent a lot of my time reading books like Game of Thrones. Yeah. So, but that's where I found my love for reading.
What's one book that's really impacted you?
Bro, Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones. The way that's written, I've never picked up another fantasy book like that ever again. You know, and I just fell in love with the series so much.
Yeah. The best part's the incest. What about self-help books or
But I didn't read too much of those. I mean, I did a lot of like fantasy novels, man. Like I remember, because I was at Bathurst, you didn't have much access to really good ones, and they were really old books, like 15, really outdated stuff. So I really didn't pick up any of those books.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you consume most of your content like now on YouTube, or what do you?
Yeah. So like a lot of my, I have a friend, Jonathan Lau. Shout out to you, bro. He sends me a lot of content to like improving like my social media, my coaching, all of that, my life, anything, money. He sends me a lot of content. Yeah. Okay.
And so
YouTube mainly.
YouTube is the best, man. You can literally learn a whole like college degree on there, and in a more fun way as well. Yeah. They should definitely do like YouTube education. I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do, bro.
And,
but yeah.
Yeah, so I want to go completely flip the script, and we want to talk about Andrew Tate, because he is obviously a very controversial character. But I think you're the one that introduced me to
him. I was.
And then I was like, I freaking resonated with everything he said instantly, bro. I was like, this guy's a fucking warrior king, bro. Like, if we were to go to war right now, he would be like the fucking king that would
He's the
be
commander.
charging
He's the commander.
at the front with us, man.
He's the commander at the front of the army.
Yeah, man. And what makes you resonate so much with Andrew Tate?
Alright, so let's rewind a bit, yeah? So I've had this dream or goal to be a millionaire about like 2 years ago. I always wanted to be a millionaire about 2 years ago. Yeah, I'm like, you know what, it's done. I'm going to be a millionaire. And I kind of fell off the wagon about like I don't know, maybe a year ago. I fell off the wagon. And then I started seeing these Andrew Tate videos, okay? And didn't really like fuck with him that much, didn't like him that much because...
This is a year ago.
6 months ago now, okay? So fast forward a little bit. So a year ago, I fell off the wagon. 6 months ago, I started seeing Andrew Tate videos.
Okay, yeah.
Like at the beginning of the year. And then I didn't like him because he made one negative video about vegans. Yeah. Okay, so if you guys know...
Calling us soy boys and shit.
Yeah, calling us soy boys and shit, okay? And I go, fuck, man. Fuck this cunt. Fuck this cunt. He's a gronk, bro. Anyways, but at the same time, yeah, remember how I said that, you know, when someone says something I dislike, I try to understand their walk of life. Yep. So what I did was, okay, well, this guy has some relatively okay points, minus the vegan thing. Let me just do a bit of research on this guy. So I typed into YouTube Andrew Tate podcast, and I started listening to all his podcasts. And I go, bro, this guy, he's the fucking man. He knows like everything that he said resonated with me. You know, like in terms of being disciplined. That if you really want to get somewhere in life, you need to be honest with yourself. You have to be absolutely honest with yourself. You have to compare yourself with the best, and you have to realize that you are under competing as an individual. Everyone that is above you and has gotten further than you in their life, there's a reason why they're there, because they've outworked you, they've done more than you. And I had to be really honest with myself. Go, fuck, man, I haven't done enough work in my life. I got to catch up. And you know, and like everything that he says about like your boys. So the stuff about women, obviously controversial, but you guys need to understand, like, you got to watch that in long format. Facts. And understand why he believes that women should be looking after the family and doing what they're doing, because you know, genetically we are different as male and female. You know, male born with more testosterone, female born with more estrogen. There's a reason for that. The female looks after the family. Guys are out there working hard, building the world. And yeah, so after listening to a couple of podcasts, I was like, wow, bro, this guy has a really good understanding of the world. And one of the things that got me was, bro, like when he uses a lot of the analogies of like being stuck in the matrix, being a slave, I go, fuck, man, I'm not fucking, like, it took a lot for me to really open my eyes, because I was like digesting everything. I'm like, bro, I'm a fucking slave. I'm a slave to the society and community. I am just another fucking peon working his ass off for what? I don't fucking deserve this. I'm better than this. I need to fucking start working to escape the matrix. Yes, I need to fucking crack shit.
Take that fucking, give me the red pill, bro.
Yeah.
I'll sell that shit too, bro.
But like, you know, and like, and I have a lot of like I'll say disagreements and like conflict of interest, and like when I'm speaking with people about like Andrew Tate.
Yep.
And actually, yesterday, funny story. Yeah, so I went around the gym with a microphone and a video.
Nice.
And I'm like, hey guy, like, and mind you, everyone that was training was boys. So I wanted like an opinion, public opinion of Andrew Tate.
Nice.
And I went around, even my own friends. Yeah, I'm like, hey guys, do you know Andrew Tate? What do you think of him? Okay. And I've compared this with people that I've actually spoken with about Andrew Tate in my life. And common ground was people who had no real aspirations, no real dreams, no real like drive to accomplish anything. They didn't really like Andrew Tate. They called him like arrogant. They pretty much said negative things about him. Okay. And then anyone who had a big dream or wanted to like had a lot of drive that I noticed and was really goal focused and goal driven, and they understood the realities of the world, they were like, bro, Tate fucking speaks facts, and you need to actually invest in him. Because I realized this, no offense to the general population, but you guys aren't on the quest of knowledge to achieve great things, because if you really wanted to achieve great things, you'd be consistently on the quest to seek knowledge, understanding why things work, how things work, and how to get there.
And the truth.
Yeah, and the truth, and everyone else who is very not complacent, what's that word, man? Comfortable with where their life is, and they'll disregard. They won't spend an hour or two to understand this knowledge. And I thought, man, this guy has everything that I want. I need to understand his mindset and how he got there. But everyone's like, he's just rich.
Yeah, misogynist.
Misogynist. They won't try to understand how he got to where he got to. Exactly. So they won't sit down and listen to a 2-hour podcast because they'd rather watch Netflix.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
I don't have time for that.
They'd rather spend an hour scrolling through social media, watching stories, chasing girls, They won't understand. They won't try to understand how this bloke got there and what makes him think the way he thinks.
Exactly.
But yeah, like, so
they're not willing to empathize.
Yeah, but at the same time, I understand, you don't have this hunger, you don't have this drive inside your belly to be at the top or to be really great or to be better than what you are. You're happy with the way you are, and that's fine. Okay, that's fine. I understand that. So I won't shit on people for like being like that, Yeah.
So obviously you've had this. Would you say that you've had this hunger and drive for like pretty much your whole life, or?
Nah, I wouldn't say that. Like, I've always had the hunger for money when I was younger, and I thought, I gotta make money. And I kind of lost a bit of the drive, and I got, like, I'd say at certain points in my life, I got comfortable again.
Yep.
And then I think it was the first lockdown. No, not the first lockdown, the second lockdown. Second lockdown, I was at home, like, bro, what am I doing with my fucking life? Yeah, I was like, what am I fucking doing with my life, man? I got nothing to my name. I got no money. I'm fucking broke. All I got is my body. But even then, that's nothing. I got my health, but fuck, what's that? I need money, And I thought, all right, I'm gonna set myself a goal. I'm gonna be a millionaire by this time next year. And I go, all right, let's do this, And then, obviously, working hard. Sometimes I would get distracted by females. So
you and me the same, bro. You and me the same, bro.
So I'd be working hard in my life, doing what I do, and then I might go out every now and then with the boys. I run into some girls, talking to some girls. I might get bored and I might open up Tinder. I might might message girls on Instagram.
That,
yeah, I might get a little bit distracted here and there. And because I was working so hard in my life at a certain point, and I was probably like doing the best in my life at the time. At that time, I realized that I was having more options with females. So that made my distraction even worse.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, so I was even more distracted now. And then...
Because you did level up, but then now you're like, fuck, all these
all these girls, bro, what's going on?
Maybe I'm good now, I can just chill here.
Yeah, and then Andrew Tate popped up on my feed, and that's when I started watching his podcast. I go, bro, that's it. Fuck all these women. I don't need any of them. I need money now. I need to fucking... I got a purpose in life, and I got to achieve it.
That delaying that gratification again.
Yeah. And at the same time, luckily, the Confit Pathways thing popped up. Like I had a mentor reach out to me and to talk to me about scaling my coaching business and all of that. And everything was just kind of falling into place at that time. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So, perfect segue, bro. Well, tell us more about Confit Pathways.
So guys, if you don't know about Confit Pathways, we are a non-for-profit organisation. I met one of the boys in jail, Junior. I was with him at Dawn Delois. And all the other boys I kind of met through Junior. So Joe is the founder. Funny story about Joe. Everywhere I went to in jail, he was there just before me. So if I went to Oberon, he was there just before me. I got to Dawn Delois or work release, he was there just before me. Everywhere I went, people were like, bro, do you know Joe? I go, who the fuck's Joe? And he's like, bro, you remind me a lot of him. I go, yeah, but you know, like, what do you mean remind? Do I look like him? And like, yeah, a little bit. They're like, bro, are you his brother? Like, if people ask me, are you Joe's brother? I go, no, man. But they're like, bro, you remind me a lot of Joe. And then after I got out, I followed him on Instagram because I saw his Confit page. And then me and him spoke a lot, and we had a lot of similarities. We had a lot of, we knew a lot of boys that knew each other. Because we came like, not a similar walk of life, but like we did similar things, you know, to get us where we are. And then Joe started working inside the juvies with the Confit program. And that was right about the moment in my life where I thought, man, I need to get somewhere in life and I have a purpose now, you know, helping young kids grow, because as a coach at the gym, most of the members at Fitness Republic are youths. You know, they're like high school students. There's a lot of high school students in my gym. It's like 70%, 40% high school students, another 30% uni students, and the rest are like adults, like full-grown men. So there's a lot of kids in the gym, and I had like a lot of moments in the gym where kids were asking me for advice about life. And I was always giving like, you know, unsolicited advice, but like from my experience. And I thought, wow, I already do that in the gym, you know. What if I translated that into like youths that actually need it?
Yes, sir.
And then, you know, I asked Joe, bro, if you ever need more people on your team, man, I'd love to help out. Just name the time and place. You know, if you have a spot for me in your team. You know, I just had this little awakening the other day that, you know, that this may be my purpose in life. And then he invited me to the Confit Pathways team. And then what we do now is we go to the juvies. We train the kids, teach them a little about fitness, a little bit about what we did in jail to stay fit and stay strong, and how we translated fitness into life, and how we turned our lives around through fitness. So that's the common ground of interest that all the boys have. How we used fitness to, you know, push boundaries in life, to get back into communities, and to, you know, better our lives. So yeah, we try to pass that on to the boys, and that's basically what Confit Pathways does.
So powerful, man. It's like those are the ones that, like, you're pretty much helping them not go down your path, but you're rechanneling their energy. Yeah,
so like for those that don't know, the juvenile recidivism rate or reoffending rate, or like, you know, going back to jail or juvie, is pretty high. It's like 80%. It's about 80%. Like most likely 80%, 12 months post their release, they're most likely going to go back to jail.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a very high percent. That's a distinction, yo.
Yeah, and like, you know, and when we do the programs, we can't help everyone. We can only help those that want to be helped. But you always get a couple of boys coming in and it's like, man, I need your help. You know, they'll come out. And I've had a couple of boys reach out to me now, like, you know, when they get out, it's not just the 8-week program that we do with them. They message me on the outside and then like, bro, do you remember me from Cobham or Baxter? You know, do you mind if I come train with you, come hang out with you? And I don't want to go down that life.
Wow.
And but basically that's what I do now besides coaching. So yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful, man. Like, you're really making a huge impact on these kids' lives, and in some cases, or most cases for me, anyways, I feel like impact is way more powerful than income than any day of the week. And how do you so in the coaching perspective, like if you have people that come up to you, they're like, oh, I want to change, I want to do something different, and then they ask you for advice, but then they don't take it. Like, how do you?
So I always give advice, because, you know, advice should be free. You know, it's up to them if they wanna take it on board. You know, you can only lead a horse to water. It's up to the horse to drink it.
Facts.
So I always give advice, and then I notice that if I give enough free value or advice to them, at some point in stage, they'll look at my life and go, man, I need to do something. I need this guy to actually coach me to get me from A to B. So I think that's how I applied it, and because people notice that I'm a youth mentor now, they know that I can help kind of change their mindset, or refocus their mindset into the more important things of life. And
Okay. So you're talking about like how now you've kind of built a name for yourself, it's much easier for them to take your advice on board.
Yeah, and no offense to life coaches, I saw some young life coaches recently, and I've gone through past profiles. I don't want to be a dickhead, okay? But I look at some young life coaches, bro, you haven't experienced life, man. You really have not. Even I'm still experiencing life as it is, and I feel like everything that I've experienced, I'm still gonna experience so much more. So I don't feel like I have all the tools to help someone change their life around. And we're back, guys.
We are back. Yeah, I fucked up because
You gotta. Oh no, what's that?
No, it's already recording. Okay. So the reason
back, guys, the Matrix tried to attack.
Yeah, it's not gonna work, guys. Not here, motherfuckers. Fuck the elites. Eat the rich.
The Matrix tried to attack. No effect.
Yo, we iron right here. So what we missed out, we just missed out like 2-3 minutes. So I was asking him like how, although because you said that no offense to life coaches that are younger, and I asked right after, I said, would you agree that someone that's 15 years old could have gone through more experience than someone that's 40 years old?
Yeah, and I don't disregard that in the sense that, they may have, okay, and that's probably qualified them to be a life coach, and they want to, pass on their journey to other people and help people get through certain traumas.
Yep.
But I kind of look more at it like, well, he's 17 or he's 23. He's a 23-year-old life coach, and he's able to do it. Well, you know what? Not shitting on his world, but if he can do it, I can fucking do it. I'm sure I got a world worth of knowledge, in my head, or experience that I can help people. If he can do it at 23, I can do it at 30. Mm-hmm. So that's I'm not trying to bring down his world, but I'm trying to think I'm going to use that to motivate and discipline myself that I can do it too, and
exactly.
I can be that coach.
Yes, and that all goes back to ego, because everyone thinks, when they think of the word ego, there's like a negative stigma attached to it. But ego, we need ego to survive. We need ego to thrive. And ego is what gives us ambition. It's what makes us want to be better. And so can you speak about how having ego can actually positively affect your life?
Yeah, so I think, ego having a positive effect, using it in a positive way, can be quite good, because everyone has different walk of life. Some people don't like ego, some people do. I, as a matter of fact, love ego because I realize that my ego has pushed me to so many heights in my life. Before I had an ego, I was probably like a piece of shit. I was nobody. But when I started having an ego, and I'll give you an example, like when I was training in the yard with the boys, I'd look around the yard and certain people I disliked. I go, fuck that cunt, bro. He can do it, I can fucking do it. What makes him better than me, What makes this bloke better than me? I can fucking do it too. So, I try to do more push-ups. I try to do muscle up quicker than him. I try to push myself to certain limits to justify my ego, And I realize that now, like as I got older, that an ego can be a superpower. And a lot of people will put down ego because you got to humble yourself. But when I have an ego, that doesn't mean I can't be polite to people. That doesn't mean, just because I don't have an ego, doesn't mean I can't be polite to someone that I'm trying to be better than.
Exactly.
And I realize now that now that I'm at my age, it's such a superpower because I'm always trying to justify my ego. Because if I don't justify my ego and I don't try to prove myself, then I'm just a shit talker. I'm just someone who's just dribbling shit, saying he's better than everyone, but he's not proving it.
Yeah, thanks.
So, I feel like if you speak it into the universe enough and you're trying to use constant action to prove yourself, then, you're only better in yourself.
Exactly.
So that's how I've, that's my self-development. That's how I've improved myself over the years. We use it in my ego, yeah.
Exactly.
And it's like when you go to a competition too, bench pressing, powerlifting competition. At the end of the day, you're trying to be the best version for yourself, but wouldn't it be better if you were number one? Aren't you really going for number one?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and if you don't get number one, you're the best version of yourself. You're still a win.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still a win. It's still a win, but I'm looking at the other guy. I'm like, I got to be better than him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because then, if you're trying to be better than someone else, then you're gonna better yourself. And so, like that's healthy competition, right?
Yeah, and it's exactly healthy competition. And I say this with the guys that come through my gym. Look for training partners that are going to push you because it's healthy competition. You're not trying to fucking shit on his world. You're not trying to if he's lifting 40 kilos, it's not like you're going to slap it out of his hand to stop him from PBing you. You're going to look at him like, oh, I might try to get 42 today. I might do one more rep than you, but it's healthy competition. But that comes with ego too, At the end of the day, you're still trying to be better than the other person.
100%. And I feel like that's very powerful when you're in the gym and even when you're training in front of girls as well. Like, even though, you shouldn't, people say, oh, you shouldn't train for others, you should just train for yourself. But you can always harness that energy, that power. Because I know for a fact that when I'm training in the gym, there's hot chicks there. You're more than likely going to push harder. Even if you're not right in front of them, just the energy, that feminine energy there, it does work as a catalyst for you to be like, no, I'm going to go harder. Even if it's subconscious, you might not even be thinking that you're going to do more reps because of that. But because they're there, you're just somehow have more energy, become more confident as well.
Let me tell you a story about that. Okay, I've got a good story for that.
Nice.
So, when I was in jail, when I started training really hard, okay, my only driving factor, the word that I spoke into my head every day when I was training, when things were hard, me and the boys would be saying this to each other every day. I go, bro, we're gonna get out and fuck a lot of bitches, bro. Come on, man. Fuck it, bro. You think you're gonna fuck bitches with those little arms, bro? Come on, man. Come on, bro. Come on, brother. What girls are you gonna get with no abs, bro? You gotta get these abs, bro. Fucking eat properly, Yeah. But that was the driving factor, and because I didn't have a girlfriend, I thought, all right, well, I got to get out and look for my partner. The only way I can look for my partner is look the best that I can look. Okay, I've got to be the best person that I got to be. Me, fat versus me with a six pack. Me with a six pack's probably gonna get better options.
100%.
I'm still the same person on the inside. Yeah. So.
Well, I actually argue that there would be definitely a difference.
Yeah, slight mental differences, but me with a six pack is most likely going to get more girls. And when I started training by myself at Silverwater, that was the only thing that I kept saying in my head, man. I gotta get up. Every time I seen chocolate, I'll get more girls if I don't eat it. I'll get more girls if I don't eat it. Damn. And that was my driving factor for 2 years, bro.
Wow.
Trying to be the best version of myself so I can get more girls.
And it worked because he has got a loving relationship now. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it got me to where I am today.
Yeah. Okay, so we're pretty much debunking the myth that you shouldn't be training for girls, because that is a huge motivating factor, because especially after a breakup, that's when you train the hardest, because you're like, no, I gotta get, the next girlfriend's gotta be better, and you gotta level up. So yeah, well, it comes down to mindset at the end of the day.
Exactly, yeah, mindset. But you gotta understand that when you're training, you're not gonna get all these compliments from girls. No. The boys will be complimenting you, but by extension, girls will see the hard work, and when they're looking for a partner, they'll be like, he's very disciplined, he works hard on himself, he's always self-developing. That's the man I want to be with. Yeah.
That's so facts, man. The fact that you train to get girls' attention, but you get way more attention from guys. They're like, fuck, you bench 100, bro. I'm trying to catch up to my man. Then they touch your pecs.
And the boys are standing like, bro, your arms, 43 centimeters. My arms, 44. Yeah, the boys are fuck, man.
But that's the thing, though, with I want to talk about women a little bit. They see that the other men idolize you, and then that's what makes them idolize you.
You know what? I feel like when women are looking at guys as partners or whatever, or they're looking for someone to mate with or whatever they want to do, whatever their objection is, whatever your objection is, women will always go for the guy that is respected by his peers.
Facts.
So if all the boys are respecting you, like, oh bro, fucking hope you're doing good, you're doing great. Women want the guy that's being respected by everyone. Exactly. Because she's going to respect him. So how can she respect him if none of the boys are respecting him? Mm-hmm. So I think it's a byproduct.
100%. Yes, it's definitely a byproduct. You should train for yourself and to become the best version of yourself. But women should not be the goal. But they just come along the way because they're like, oh, I want to enjoy the ride with you, kind of thing. Because you kind of take them on a journey, and that's the power of the masculine energy, because you have that vision, you have that goal, And so the feminine energy just wants to relax and wants to go on a journey with you.
Well, you know, I realized this, so like, I'll use the train analogy, you know.
Yep.
So you are the train, and every station that you go to is every goal that you go to. So if I'm trying to chase girls, the girl station B, girl station C, you know, I'm not really going to get nowhere. I'm going to go circles, you know. But if you have your goal as the station to be the best version of yourself, and you go towards that station only, there's going to be girls that will be coming to every station trying to hop onto this train that you're going through, you know. They're always going to be trying to get on the train, your train, you know. Yes, and if they don't like it, they can get off the train.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, but then there's always but
you're always
more and more.
And I realize, you know, you're going to get more and more girls instead of trying to go to the station to pick up the girls to go directly out. You're going to end up getting more girls if you just focus on going to the top station.
Damn, man, I love your analogies, bro. This station, girl station A, girl station B.
I pick up a lot of the analogies from Andrew
Girls
Tate.
galore,
Yeah, I pick a lot of it up from Andrew Tate, but I kind of use it in reference to my life. I'll twist it a little bit.
And like that's why like he speaks so much truth, but nobody wants to really listen because
no one listens to the long format.
Exactly, and they hear, like, I posted one thing the other day. It was about Myron, you know, from Fresh and Fit, and he was talking about like girls. They want something. You liked it. You were like, they want someone that's stronger than them, someone that's more intelligent, making more money, like
more competent.
Yeah, exactly, everything. And so, but the voice, the tone that he was saying it in sounded like he was angry.
Yeah.
So I can understand from people's perspective, but at the same time, you need to know, like, you need to think for yourself, like, is this guy actually angry at girls? Because he gets a lot of girls as well. So at the same time, like, you got to be willing in yourself to want to know the truth. And a lot of people don't. Like, they just accept anything.
Yeah, they'll just accept whatever's fucking fed to them.
Facts.
You know, whatever's on their scroll, their feed, whatever's on their TikTok, they'll just accept it. Whatever the news gives to them, they'll just accept it. You know, they won't question, like, why is this being purported at us.
100%, man. Cool. So I want to go fast forward into the future a bit. What do you see yourself doing in? Because you said that you had a goal, like around a year ago, to become a millionaire. How's that going for you?
So I'm saying, like, I've made a lot of mistakes along the way, but I'm learning a lot more. I mean, the more time passes, I feel like the closer I get towards the goal. You know, as the days pass on, and the more work I put in.
It's inevitable.
Yeah, I feel like it's inevitable. You know, and like I feel like I'm that guy already. I just got to get more work done, and I got to get there. And where I see myself there in a couple of years. I just don't know how long, and I don't know how long it's going to take. But I just know that I'm on the right path. I genuinely know that this is where I'm going. Yeah.
It's just a matter of time before the physical catches up with your mental, right?
Yeah.
And like, the thing with becoming like a millionaire, like, you never know. It could be you're like grinding for like 5 years straight, and then you're just like making ends meet. And then on the 6th year, boom, you become like multi-millionaire. It's like overnight success, in quotes.
And you know, I feel like my mind's got to think like that before I become that.
Facts.
Facts.
You got to connect with your vision, that imagination. You got to bring that. You got to connect with that in your mind first, and then that's when the physical starts to catch up with it.
Yeah, well, I heard a good quote a long time ago. It was that if you want to be a certain type of person with a six-pack or abs, you know, you have to shift your mindset and your identity to that person before you become that person. You know. So, you know, you have to change your mindset to someone of that has a six-pack, you know, that doesn't eat junk food, that consistently trains. Same thing with being a millionaire. You got to shift your mindset to a millionaire. You got to start seeing opportunity here and there. You start asking yourself questions, you know. Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely fully 100% agree with that, because when I was trying to go vegan, this whole thing, that I was always trying to be vegan. And whenever you're trying to be something, that means you're not that thing. Yeah. So it wasn't until I was like, no, I am vegan, and boom, it was so easy, because when I was trying, I was always like relapsing. I was always guilt tripping myself every time I ate meat or cheese or whatever. Yeah. But as soon as I was like, I am vegan, and I was just being, I didn't have to try anymore. And so there was no more resistance, there was no more friction. It was just so much easier to just be and adopt that mindset.
Yeah, I think I relate the same when I became vegan too, because I thought, that's it, I'm vegan. I'm vegan. It became so much natural, like more natural. Like, you could argue that I'm not fully 100% vegan, but my lifestyle is of a vegan. You know, I'll obviously make like
exceptions.
I make exceptions here and there, but 90% of the time, predominantly my lifestyle is vegan, and that's because I identify as one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the power of changing your identity.
Yeah.
Because
Shifting
you
your
can
mindset.
you can change your actions and your habits and all that, but that won't really stick unless you change your identity. And there's this picture, I don't know what it's called, but it's like to change your whole life, the most easiest way to do it is just by changing your identity, because then everything else will start to follow.
Yeah.
And that really reminds me of like when smokers, when they try, in quotations, how to quit.
Yeah.
Like if they're always trying to quit, if they eventually end up at a party and then someone offers them a drag and they're like, oh no, I'm trying to quit. And then they're like, oh, come on. And then they're like, oh, fine, I'll take one drag. But the person that says, no, I quit, I don't smoke anymore, there's nothing you can say to make him smoke again, because they already agreed in their mind, they've solidified that in their mind, the identity is that they don't smoke anymore and that they've already quit. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, bro. And I think that happens with like alcoholics too, you know?
Oh, facts.
Yeah, same thing happens.
Anything.
Yeah, and you know what? And I'll give you another example. One of the boys that I know that trains really hard and is training for a fight, we know he used to drink or drinks on like when he goes out.
Yep.
But the moment a fight comes around and he's like, nah, I don't drink, I'm a fighter. Like that mindset, I don't drink. No one pushes him anymore, and you know, that's it. Yeah, nah, you're all good, bro, don't worry. Don't worry about drinking, you're sweet. Don't drink, bro, don't drink, it's good. You know, because he identifies as a fighter who's who's having fights coming up, you know, and that's not part of their lifestyle.
Yeah.
Can't be drinking.
Like there's no
Yeah,
what ifs or buts.
Yeah, as soon as you identify as that person who doesn't do it, then you're sweet.
It's like as soon as you decide and you know, like there's no other way, that's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's crazy how the mind works.
Yeah, bro. It's crazy. Like I think that I read somewhere it was like something along the lines of like we know less about the mind than we do about space and the universe and everything. Like how fucking crazy is that, man?
Yeah, that's pretty mind blowing.
Fucking Matrix ain't stopping us today, mate.
The Matrix attacked again. But I got news for you. You can put it up your ass.
Yeah, the Matrix.
Ain't getting me,
It's
bro.
AKA my poor preparation skills. So we missed out on just 10 minutes. So luckily it was a perfect cut. And I asked him about the future. So first of all, like, how are you feeling with this goal of like $1 million and are you getting closer to it?
I feel like I'm on the right track. I feel like as the days go on, I'm working harder and harder, and I'm learning new skills to take me to the top in terms of networking and everything. And I feel like it's only a matter of time before I get there.
Yes. It's just, we were saying how sometimes, or a lot of times actually, you have a goal and although you see the vision for so long, say you want to get to that goal of 1 million within like 6 years or something, those first 5 years, many times, like people are just working paycheck to paycheck and then they're just putting all of their effort into it. But on that 6 years, like boom, you hit the gold rush and then you're like, whoa, all the oil starts coming out and you're like, that's when you are seen as an overnight success, right? And so,
well, I feel like you know, luckily like I document everything, like you know, I'm recording everything. So, but most of the people, most of my followers, most of my fans, my viewers, followers, they know that I've been like having this vision for a while. So I guess like the real fans would know that I'm not an overnight success.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And that's what I love about like documenting the journey, because people get to see where you're at that certain amount, at that exact time, and it inspires them to as well, because they know you started from the bottom as well.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, can you speak about that and like building that relationship with the supporters, the people that look up to you? Like how do you get, what's that word? Confidence in communicating with them, and also like how do you deal with the negativity? Like for example, there's always going to be people that are going to try to pull you down, the naysayers, right?
Well, you know what? Negativity always comes and goes. I feel like, you know, I get threats here every now and then. A lot of people talk shit. A lot of people, they'll say negative things about what we do. For example, someone said to me the other day, not to me directly, they put up a post on their own Facebook post. How can you support a non-for-profit organization, if one of the main guys is a fan of Andrew Tate? And in my mind, I'm just like, what's this negative coming from, If they actually sat down and watched a bit of Andrew Tate, he promotes a lot of male masculinity in terms of that you got to be disciplined, you got to provide and protect, you have a duty as a man to be a better person. And because I'm lucky that I've grown up with thick skin, I've grown up with a lot of friends that fucking, I wouldn't say put each other down, but we tease each other a lot. Yeah. And when you go through jail, you really got to toughen yourself up. You can't be a soft, emotional person. So I think that's where my thick skin comes from. That's how I deal with a lot of the threats and the hate. In terms of finding the confidence to, pass my message on to my followers, is I feel like it's very selfish of me to not show people my story and show people my world, because there's people out there that are struggling and would love to be in my shoes and overcome what I overcome. So if I share how I got from A to B, people that would love to overcome what I've overcome, to get from A to B, they have inspiration, they find inspiration, and I feel like that's what keeps me sharing.
Yeah, because it's like a nice cycle, a healthy cycle where you feed them inspiration and then they say thank you, and then that feeds you inspiration, and then it just keeps going over and over again.
Exactly.
So yeah, man, what is one of the most challenging problems that you have to face as a coach and someone that's in a leadership position?
I feel like you have to be very careful with what you say sometimes. So sometimes I think something and I'll say it outright, but there's better ways to say it. For example, a lot of the girls, they'll say, Andrew, you can't call it fat. I go, what do you want me to say, bro? What do you want me to say, man?
Do you want me to call it skinny?
Yeah, what do you want me to say, And I feel like I have no problem calling someone fat, but in today's society, being politically correct and all of that, you can't be negative. But I feel like I have every right to judge someone based on their actions, because when I'm calling someone fat, it's not like I'm calling someone black, short, because it's unfair to judge someone based off the color they were born or the height that they're born with. But I feel like if I call someone fat, I'm judging them based off the actions that they've taken in their lives. They've taken all these actions from A to B to get fat, to put on weight. So I'm judging them based off their actions, not of what they're born with. And if they were born fat, then I might.
That's maybe a different story.
Yeah, I might take a step back. But when I call someone fat, it's not the same as calling someone black or
a certain height.
Yeah. Calling someone short or
Because that's not something that they could control.
Yeah, not something they control or change. But obviously, being fat, you can change that.
Exactly. You literally just have to eat less.
Yeah.
The basics.
Eat less and train harder.
Yeah. Cool. So let's go back into the topic that we were talking about before the Matrix. My poor preparation skills kicked in. I asked about kids, man. Did you ever want kids growing up?
Of course. I've always wanted kids.
Ever since you're
I've always wanted kids.
So as soon as you came out of your mother's room, you're like, I want kids as well.
No, not that extreme. But growing up through high school, even that, you're taught to believe that after school you get a job, then you have family, you have kids, so I've always thought, eventually I'm gonna have kids one day. I'm gonna be a dad, whatever.
So you wanted kids more so because
society told me that.
Okay.
Yeah, and then as I got older, as my mates around me started having kids, and I started seeing everyone have kids, I thought, I might have kids. So I wouldn't mind kids, so my kids could grow up and hang out with my mates' kids. And I always wanted that kind of that group where my kids are friends with their kids. I've always wanted that, but unfortunately, where I am with my life, and I have to be selfish now. It's not going to happen, because by the time I have kids, my mates...
It's going to be with me, bro.
Fucking no. But yeah, so, I've always wanted kids. I still want kids, but right now it's I'm just holding off.
Okay. So we've always wanted kids, and then now it's like, gotta take a step back for a bit first. But I really do want kids in the future still.
Yeah, I still want kids, but I feel like right now it's just my career is a little bit more important than having kids, and I don't want to take that away from, like, I don't want to take some of my responsibility of my career and put it into children, because I'm only given a certain amount of energy each day, and I can't give it to my kids and then give it to my career, and then if I start failing at my career, I don't want to blame it on my kids. So I don't want to be that type of person.
Yes. Like, you don't want to resent those kids, even though at the end of the day it's your own fault, because they didn't be asked to like come out your dick hole. And so I did ask you earlier as well, like, I made a statement and you agreed that if you do become a millionaire and then you have kids, they're going to be well off as well. You'll have more knowledge to impart on them as well. Speak a bit more about that.
Yeah, exactly. So I know that when I have to become a millionaire, I'm going to have to go through certain life lessons. I'm going to have to acquire certain skills of networking, learn more about money, and I want to pass on the same knowledge or teach the same type of skills to my kids. So I still think that I still have a lot to learn before I can become a father, to pass on the same skills to my children.
And what are some skills that you'd love to impart?
I'd love to put on. I'd love to teach my kids, like, the hardness of, like, going into, like, learning how to fight. The difficulty in making money, understanding how money works, and starting business and all of that.
You'll teach both of them how to fight? Like women, the girl and the guy?
No. So my daughter, look, if I have to babysit my own kids while I'm working, then I'll take them to the gym with me, whatever, if I have to look after them, okay? And if my daughter wants to fight, I'm not going to stop her, okay? But I'd love for my daughter to be a princess. I'm not going to teach her how to fight. I'm not going to teach her all these skills that I'm going to teach my son, I just want my daughter to be happy, I really want to teach my daughter how to find a competent man, a man of high value, a man who's going to look after her, a man who's going to protect her. And I really want her to, take more from her mother and be the best mother that she could be. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll give you one last question. We can wrap this up. If you were about to go to war tomorrow and you did have those two kids, you had one son who's 5 years old. They're twins.
Okay.
They're twins, but one's a girl and one's a guy, and they're both 5 years old, and you had to go to war tomorrow. What words would you say to them before you left?
Okay. I would say, son, you are now the man of the house. If I don't come back, it is your job as a man and your responsibility and your duty to look after your sister and your family, or your mum, to provide and protect. It will be a tough road. It will be a hard road, but it will make you possibly an even better person than me. And I'll tell my daughter, he's going to provide, he's going to, do everything in his power to become the man to look after the family. But when it comes for you to marry, you need to look for a man who's capable to provide, protect, and look after you, so you can be the best mother that you can be, like your mum. Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. What a beautiful way to end it. Well, guys, this has been episode 8, and just a fun fact, if you guys didn't know, 80%, I think it was, the statistic was 80% of podcasts that start, they don't ever get past episode 7. So we just broke that barrier, episode 8 right here, man. Thank you so much, my man, Andrew Truong. Yeah. Can you give us all the details of how we can support you and follow you in your journey?
Yeah, guys. So the links will be in below. But if you want to find me, OneOutTraining at Instagram. That's one word, double T in the middle. Same thing for my Twitter and my YouTube channel. I think that's it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys for watching, and have a lovely day. Ladies and brother, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, it actually worked out that it cancelled and that we had to record again, because I feel like that take was way better.